Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We're back for another match of the Champions Cup. This one, Northampton Saints hosting the Bulls. Seen some interesting games throughout this weekend. There was one in the Challenge Cup just before between Racing 92 and the Exeter Chiefs. Went right down to the wire with the last minute try. Toulouse versus Glasgow. That was one of the most hectic games of the weekend as well. This game is unpredictable. This Bulls side is also unpredictable. They did very nicely up against Bordeaux. Eventually ended up losing that game due to Bordeaux just really finding their rhythm throughout the second half. The Bulls once again getting outscored at Loftus for a second 40, but this game away from home, they got an interesting looking lineup. No Villy LaRue, no Andre Pollard, but still a very handy side that will look to push Northampton Saints here. But looking through at the starting lineups, first of all, in the front row, there is an Italian international at number 1 in Daniele Fischetti. For the Saints side, Craig Wright will be 2, and then Trevor Davison starting in as the number 3. Alex Coles at 4 with Van der Merch as the 5. Kimini, Pearson, and Henry Pollock starting in as the number 8. That man has been the talk of the town throughout this week. It'll be very intriguing to see what he can do. He is in the starting lineup like he normally would be for the Saints and really can be an impact player off of the back line. It is Alex Mitchell and Finn Smith as that 9 and 10 combination, so an English international pairing in that department. Joe Hendy out on the left wing, Fraser Dingwall and Rory Hutchinson in the midfield, with Ollie Slateholm and George Furbank at number 15. Looking through at the starting lineup for the Bulls, it is going to be Tishak Vine in the front row alongside Aka van der Merwe and Mornay Smith. And the locking duo, Kobus Vesa, that man's hands were not working. Last week, every time the ball went to him, he seemed to drop it. He has had some Springbok experience throughout this year, so a little bit uncharacteristic of Kobus Vesa. JF van Huren, he will be slotting in as that number 5. Marcel Kutsia in the number 6 jersey. Now, having that type of leadership, I think, will be massive for this Bulls side. Of course, they would have absolutely loved to have Ruan Nokia in the mix for this game as well, but he is still absent from this Bulls team. Reniard Ludwig and Elric Lowe close out the loose forward trio. Zach Berger and Cade Volhutter gets the start at 10. Like I mentioned, no Andre Pollard for this game, no Keegan Johannes either. So a big opportunity for Volhutter to show what he can do, show that maybe he is the second choice 10 at the moment. For this Bulls side, Stravino Jacobs out on the left wing, Harold Foster and Stedman Hans in the middle, and then Sergio Peterson and Devin Williams close out this Bulls starting side. But I hope you guys are all doing well. Hope you're all excited for this upcoming match. The two sides just look like they're finishing their warm-ups before they get into the tunnel and get rearing to go for this match in about 10 minutes' time at Northampton's home ground. We have got hi from Pleasant Tees. Welcome in. Hope you're doing well. Hi from Philip as well. And come on, you Saints. Shoe Army, says Jonathan Green. And after this game, we will be Saint Bulls, says Philip there. And Bulls all the way, says Philip in there as well. Now, I will mention, they are coming in as quite big underdogs for this game, the Bulls. Most people anticipating them to lose around that 15 mark, although sometimes, and it's not always, every once in a while, the Bulls pull off a brilliant away game. And a lot of people are hoping it's this one. In the Champions Cup, this is getting to the point where it is a crucial winning opportunity for this Bulls team. Just looking quickly here. Hopefully I've got the right one. That is not the right one. We'll go like this. There we go. So this is the way that this table sits at the moment. Bordeaux are 2 wins from 2. Northampton, they were able to get themselves their bonus point victory in their first match up against Poe, which was an absolutely massive one as it was away from home. The Bulls, they're sitting there with the 1 point in their game up against Bordeaux. That was from scoring 4 tries. And now they find themselves in a bit of a predicament. They need at least 1 point from this game, if not 2, if not 4, if not 5, to really feel safe in this group at this point in time. But it will take a little bit of work and a little bit of cohesion from this Bulls side. They did look good up against Bordeaux at times, though they were finding their rhythm. It was just a hand starting to let them down later on in that contest. And then alongside that, I'd say it was just a little bit of that pressure that Bordeaux created. They were really putting it up against this Bulls side at Loftus just last week. Looking through at recent form for the Northampton Saints, as you can see there, they got themselves a win over Poe in their last game, 35 points to 27. They've got Sale next week, and then they've got Bath as the last game of 2025. That's a pretty tough game. Bath at the moment in some pretty handy form overall in the Premiership. Currently Northampton, they find themselves sitting in third on 23 points. That points differential compared to Exeter, who did just have the draw up against Racing, there is quite a substantial difference in that department. And in fact, when you look through at this Northampton points differential, it's actually one of the worst up until around Sale Sharks. And then everyone from below, of course, they're in the minus, including Newcastle with that minus 174. So they did a good job to get themselves that win over Lions just recently in the Challenge Cup. But for the Bulls, their recent form, they have had 2 games. One was taking place in November. That was actually their only match throughout the November period due to the international rugby, but they were defeated by the Lions 43 points to 33. And then they did lose to Bordeaux 46 points to 33. So they've now getting 33 points in their last 2 contests. Yet most sides, if they score 33, that would be a victory. Whereas for the Bulls, they have lost in both of those games by 10 or more. So a little bit of work to be done. The last 2 times that these 2 sides have played, Northampton have won both of them. One of them at Loftus, one of them at a home game for Northampton. That was back in 2024, 59 points to 22. But very different teams now, so it's hard to say what's actually going to happen here. You would think it would be self-explanatory. The home side come in as favourites, done and dusted. But you just never know what Bulls side is going to show up. And like I said, eventually there's going to be a big game here away from home. Perhaps it could be this one. We have got there, well done Stormers, proudly Stormers, says Martin, and Bulls 7, Saints 37 is Martin's prediction there. Yeah, I think that minimum for the Bulls here, even if it means they concede a couple extra tries. Yes, points differential is quite important in this Champions Cup competition, but it's not the be-all, end-all, so it sounds crazy to say, right? But if the Bulls, if they can score 4 tries, but to do so, it means they concede 30, 40, 50 points, I would say they almost have to go for it. They have to go aggressive here and just get to that 4-try margin. Because at the end of the day, if you score 4 tries, like we're seeing, they'll be relatively close, or at least in the ballpark with their opposition, but they have to go attacking rugby here for the Bulls because bare minimum, you need that 1 point. At this point in time, with the group the way that they are, with Bordeaux at the top, and there are still some pretty handy sides to try and make a little bit of a boost a bit later on, like Sapo, they are going head-to-head with Bristol, so if Bristol win that game, that shoots them up, and that confirms another spot more than likely in the quarterfinals. If you're in 5th in this group, you do go through to the Challenge Cup round of 16. We actually saw that for the Bulls last year, which they did relatively well up until they faced, I believe it was Edinburgh, and then the moment Po, yeah, they're a tricky one to know. And that wasn't supposed to rhyme, but that's just the way that it sits at the moment in terms of whether or not they will actually advance or whether they might be that side that end up overall missing out. Go Northampton, Bulls are weak. Says Martin, and also good morning. Says Katzenell, welcome in. Hope you're doing extremely well. This game only 7 minutes away from kicking off. There's been some very entertaining games throughout the weekend. That Toulouse-Glasgow game, I knew if I didn't cover it, it would end up being a very good game. I ended up getting to watch a little bit of a replay, or at least the first about 30 minutes. Saw it was 21-0 for Toulouse, so I thought, oh, well, I'll go away and do something. Came back later on to watch the rest of it and was very surprised at the end score, but it's the unpredictability of this Champions Cup competition. Bulls need some rugby players. Says Martin. Yeah, in this case, they've gone without Andre Pollard. They've gone without Billy Leroux. No Ruan Nokia. So there are a few players that perhaps are missing from this contest. No Gerhard Stennekamp, no Wilco Lowe, in terms of being able to bring that late scrummaging impact in this contest. So once again, it is a case, just like we've seen for this whole round, of sides away from home just chucking together a side, a bit more of an experimental, developmental type of team, and hoping for the best. I mean, La Rochelle, they were probably the perfect example of a side that did throw together a bit of a makeshift team that actually did pretty well. But the only, I guess, slight downside, not really was the loss, but the fact that they didn't get a bonus point from that game. Hoping more than anything else. Yeah, I've used the word hope a lot so far, haven't I? In terms of saying that I hope that they do all right in this contest. The Saints, they are a strong side. We saw that last year. They made it through to the final where they did take on the eventual champions in Bordeaux. I'd love to be able to get that win again, or at least get to that point in time again. They were able to beat Leinster in what was a pretty substantial semi-final of the Champions Cup too. For both sides just to make the way, or just about to make their way out of the tunnel. Looks like a decent attendance for this contest. Not a lot of empty seats for this Northampton home ground. I believe this is a location where they did have a few games of the Women's Rugby World Cup as well. alongside Ashton Gate was another one. And then Twickenham for the final. That was completely sold out. We see these two sides in the changing sheds. Marcel Kutsia, just having someone like him in this team, I think will make a bit of a difference. At times, the Bulls, I have to say it, they do look like out on the field, they lack a bit of leadership in terms of like knowing what they've got to do. And when they start giving away penalties, there's no one to really call them out for it out there on the park. That's where someone like Rua Nokia is so strong for this Bulls side. But he is absent from this game. Looking through at the bench, though, I believe it is going to be just the 5-3 split for the Bulls today, with Ambrose Papier playing as that number 21. The Saints, they have got a handy enough looking bench. You see them there in the changing sheds, that classic green, black and yellow kit with a little bit of white on there as well. Off the bench, though, for this Northampton Saints side, they've got Sam Graham, Tom Jones, and also Toby Thame as that number 23. We would see at international level anyway, Henry Pollock normally used as that impact player off the bench. But for the Saints, anyone who has been watching their seasons, including that Champions Cup last year or earlier this season, will know exactly what that man can do in a starting lineup. I know he seems to be not the most popular man in South Africa at the moment. A lot of men will be targeting throughout this game, I'd say. Josh Kimmany, that number 6 jersey with Pearson as 7 as well there for the Saints. And if you haven't already, do let me know your score predictions for this game. It is looking like a pretty handy Saints side. A bit of an unknown with the Bulls, but that is sometimes a good thing. When you have guys who are out there trying to really prove why they should be there. Henry Pollock going to break the Bulls. There's Martin in there. Alex Mitchell and Finn Smith as that 9 and 10 combination for the Saints. That could be a very handy duo. Get some good go forward. Ollie Slateholm also back out on the right wing. It's a very strong back line, to be fair, for the Saints. And good day, Hamish and chat. I fear that we might get 50 or 60 points put on us, says Haino. So welcome in. I did mention earlier on, and I want to know your take on it, because I know that you are a Bulls man yourself. I said how, rather than playing a safer game here for the Bulls, if they were to concede 50, 60 points or so, that would, for me, I think, be all right, as long as they get a bonus point for 4 or more tries of their own. They may leave a few more gaps in their defence by trying to go a bit more attacking, but I think that if they can get out of this game, even if it's quite a substantial points differential, just a point on the board, that could be the biggest thing for the Bulls at this point in time. Definitely with Poe in that situation just below them at this current point in time. I'm feeling very lucky to not be in Australia at the moment. Well, says Katzenell. What's happening in Australia? Is it the rain? I did see that at the BBL they had a bit of rain at the start of that game at Optus Stadium. And Hamish, I was hoping you would show arrows here opposing each other to show who was playing on the right side and also your left side, or on your right side and also your left hand. I'm for a good game, says David. So we will let you know who's going from right to left early on in the contest. It doesn't really work for me because it is mirrored, so all the names on the screen for myself are actually backwards. Makes it impossible to be able to read them unless you really concentrate for a long time. But I think it is the right way around for you guys, which is fantastic. They are just showing Alex Mitchell. It's a fantastic player in that number 9 jersey. Stedman Hans, looking forward to his opportunity at 13 here. Sergio Peterson, pure pace for him. And Henry Pollock, the headband, is ready to go at this game. And to be fair, he's probably going to have a decent old crack at this Bulls side. Does have some brilliant break-and runs for the Saints side throughout their regular season. They are in 3rd place in the overall standings at this point in time. Both sides just finishing pre-match warm-ups, stretches, get ready to go for 80 minutes of what will hopefully be very entertaining rugby. We've had some absolutely phenomenal games throughout this round of the European Champions Cup. Even the Challenge Cup, there's been some great games in the mix as well. So hopefully this game is going to be no different. But yeah, if you haven't already, let me know your score predictions for this contest, as it could easily go either way between these two sides. Both very attacking-minded, which is why I do think that we could be on for about an 80-point thriller here with a little bit of luck and hopefully not a huge amount of knock-ons. We've seen a few of those. The weather is actually decent for this contest, which is great news, as some of the games have been heavily weather-affected, but we're getting underway for this contest. The Bulls, they will be kicking off from left to right as we get ready for this round in one of the last games of the Champions Cup. There is also Toulon versus Bath taking place at the same time. In the Challenge Cup, it is going to be Dragons versus Lyon. So plenty of matches going on. You see Glasgow shocked to lose? I did. I watched the first 30 minutes of that game, then had to go away and do something. I was watching the replay of it, I should mention. Didn't get to watch it live. And then I thought, oh, well, 21-0 to Toulouse. I'll watch the rest of this game later. Came back and then just watched what was one of the best comebacks in recent times from Glasgow. Just kept on digging deep and eventually won that game. But now line-out throw here for the Bulls after it does go out from the Northampton Saints. And already putting pressure on at the line-out, but nicely taken by Jaya van Heeren. As Marcel Kutsia going to be held up by Henry Pollock. Zach Berger, though, getting the offload from him. Looking for an offload himself. Finds it to Jaya van Heeren in the first drop of the day from the Bulls. And it only took 50 seconds. Bit of a concern early. I guess it is good if we get a point and concede 40-odd points. Rather better defensive display even if we lose. Yeah, see, it's going to be tricky because the other side of that is they could defend extremely well for this game, the Bulls, but then still end up conceding 5 tries. It's just the harsh reality of having a bit more of an experimental side out there on the field. So yeah, I do think they gotta go attacking. Hope for the best. Throw a little bit of caution to the wind. It looks like already this does not look good for Zach Berger. He's already limping. It's been a minute 15 in this contest, and first collision for Berger looks like it's done a little bit of damage. They've got Ambroise Papier off the bench and that 5-3 split, but I just, you don't want to lose a player 90 seconds in. That Glasgow game was great, very clinical, scoring in all their attacks bar too. Yeah, I thought that second half was incredible. Toulouse throughout the first half were great as well. It was actually a really good game of rugby to watch. And I was able to convince my dad, who hasn't watched a huge amount of rugby lately. I was like, hey, Dad, these two sides match up very nicely. 36 international players. Both love attacking. It's in the rain, which was the one almost breaking point of my selling pitch, but he ended up watching it with me, and he seemed to enjoy it. He was glued to the TV, which was great. That one's going to go into touch for Devin Williams, playing in that number 15 jersey for this contest, rather than Villy LaRue, who is absent from the lineup, but it is going to be the line-out throw for Craig Wright, just inside of his own half for Northampton Saints. Nicely taken at the front of the line-out. Alex Mitchell, big lobby pass over the top to Henry Pollock. 2-man tackle on him, including a low one from Marcel Kutsia. Now putting it in behind, running this one hard is Finn Smith. A very dangerous attacking option. Stedman Harms, though, over the ball, wins the penalty for the Bulls. A good early one to get after the run of Finn Smith. That is going to be for holding on against the young English fly half. Good low tackle made initially by Harold Foster and then Stedman Hans. Yep, that angle didn't help him out too much. He did get onto the ball after that hand went down, but it was still very quick and snappy that he was able to get in there. And, okay. Interesting choice here for the Bulls. They're actually looking at a 3-pointer from inside of their own half. So, okay. So they're going points early. That's the goal from this one. Cade Volhata normally not too bad off a kicking tee. It's not the easiest kick though. Probably about 55 out on the angle to start him off. Hopefully he's finished the warm-up. Getting the distance for this type of kick. By the sounds of it, he did well before the game from this range. This would be to give the Bulls the lead at this stage of the contest. And he's kept it low, bringing it round, and that one has not got the distance at all. It's actually bounced twice before it gets to the in-goal area. And now kick down the middle of the field. Alex Mitchell, that was a bit of an anti-climax for that kick, but the Bulls give up their chance of being able to score early. Release for now. Elric Lowe back on attack for this Bulls side. Zach Berger going off to the right-hand side. Do you see Sergio Peterson? He is way out on the wing for the Bulls. He is calling for the pass as well, so perhaps they'll go there. A little grubber in behind. Nicely taken at the back for George Furbank. 2-man tackle on him. The Bulls getting in the breakdown again. Looking for the steal, but can't get it. Weird kick. Really weird. I think he tried to keep it low. Oh, and that's gone off the hands of Zach Berger. Oh, and that's going to be ruled as offside against Zach Berger there for the Bulls. But yeah, I think Cade Volhata, he seemed like he was trying to keep it low, and in doing so, well, he did keep it low, but it never really got off the ground, did it? That kick. But it was an interesting choice Just because, you're outside of 50 metres going for a first shot at the post of the day, you could have maybe looked at getting that line out going around 22 metres out from the opposition line, get a bit of early possession in this contest. But now the Saints, they have got themselves an attack of their own. They will throw it in nicely. Mitchell goes across to the right-hand side into the hands of Henry Pollock, who sits down. Cade Volhata. It'll Foster has to let him go as the knees were down. Mitchell goes back across. Big forwards across the side that time. It was Trevor Davison now going short side for the Saints, running it into a gap. Half a chance there, but a very nice low tackle made by the Bulls defence on Pearson. Trying to spin out of that one was right. Now short side Mitchell, not a lot of options there. It smacked straight into a player's face, it looked like, but I think that's been ruled as a knock on. It will be advantage over. Back to the halfway line after the Bulls kick it downwards. Now looking for a 50-22. Looked like a casual one, and it's a brilliant kick from the Saints. A massive gap in behind. Volhata trying to cover a lot of turf. Wasn't able to do so, and now the Saints have the attacking line out. And it's the first 50-22 of the day. Had all the time in the world, Finn Smith there, to be able to line it up. Now ready for the throw. About 15 metres out from the line for Craig Wright. And hi, Hamish. Hi, all. Says Wild Lobster. Welcome and hope you're doing extremely well. Hi, Hamish. Thank you for your commentary again. Says Sue, there's no worries whatsoever. It's been some great games throughout this weekend so far. Of the South African games, you'd say Sharks, Saracens was the pick of them. Like, great game for the Stormers. In terms of closeness, that is what I'm talking about. They did a very good thing in Cape Town, the Stormers, getting themselves the 42-21 win. A little bit of extra strapping on the hand of Mornay Smith. Looks like he's got a whole roll on that finger. Hopefully he's going to be all right to be able to continue in this game. They haven't got Wilco Lowe as the replacement in this contest. Checking in with donuts. Says, Jeff, what type of donuts have you gone with, Jeff? Do let me know. I didn't get a donut the other day, but I did get a chocolate eclair. And I used to absolutely love those things, and I've worked out why, because I had one and I was very happy afterwards. Now, Sergio Pedersen plays halfback. Going off to the left-hand side. Low tackle made by, would have been Van der Merch, I should say. A custard, bro. See, I've never really got into custard donuts, only because I don't know if I like custard. I've actually never had custard. That's probably why I've never had a custard donut. Would you rate it higher than like a chocolate or what other types of donuts? A plain donut, I guess, a cinnamon donut? Would you rank it higher than that? It's going to be thrown in. Nicely taken by the Saints. We have got the Hamish Pollock starting the game today. Been coming off as a sub recently, says DJ. Although for the Saints he does normally start. It is for England that he normally comes off as an impact player off the bench, which has been a bit of an interesting one because I've seen a lot of people give him stick for being off the bench as an impact player, whereas you look at someone like a Quacker Smith who's literally a specialist off of the bench, and no one complains about that. But I think it's just because people don't like Pollock, that they don't like the fact that he makes his way off of the bench rather than starting. That one's going to be kicked down the middle of the field from Alex Mitchell. Doesn't find touch, so another attacking chance here for the Bulls. Although Devin Williams looks like he's going to go for a boot downfield. It's going, that's sideways. Going to be slapped back by the Saints. Close to a knock on there, but it is going to be play on. Top draw, mate. Says Jeff Hay there. And all good. Hope you're doing great. Says Wild Lobster. Yeah, I've been doing all right. It's been a busy old weekend, but I've been getting there. Now rolling this one back. Alex Mitchell with the kick downfield again. Nicely taken. Inside of the 22 for the Bulls. And now Cade Volhata, he has got a decent boot on him. It was hard to tell from that last kick that he took. That was about 15 metres short of the try line. The time that it bounced. Stedman Hans trying to get in the breakdown and win yet again another turnover for the Bulls. Skip pass on the right-hand side. Here comes Henry Pollock. Passes one more to Ollie Slateholm. Pollock is on the inside. Doesn't need him. Slateholm goes in, out on the wing. And then it's try number 1 in this match for the Saints. 8.5 minutes in, Ollie Slateholm returning after injury. He's had quite a few injury issues as of late, Ollie Slateholm, but that gap just opened up on the right-hand side. Where is Stravino Jacobs in this scenario? He had about a 2 or 3 on 1, just got lured in and didn't quite have the pace to be able to get on the outside to catch up with Ollie Slateholm. Are you doing the Bristol game next? I am not, no. I'm probably going to be sleeping for a couple hours before heading to work. Custard Donuts, great, Hamish. You're right about Pollock starting for the Saints. Says DJ. He did get the try assist there Asking the crowd to get a little bit louder after that one was scored by the looks of it. But Finn Smith. Oh, now the crowd dead silent. I love when crowds do that. When you hear them absolutely screaming their heads off, and then as soon as someone's going to take a kick, it just goes down to about 1 decibel. But that one's gone over, making the score now 7-0 in favour of the Saints. So we knew that they'd start this game fast, this Northampton side. Shame a few of my mates are in that game, says Harry and Luck. Well, hopefully they end up going all right. Wait, in that game as in playing or at that game, maybe? And do you ever have a quiet weekend during rugby season? All the rugby freaks enjoy your commentary, says Wild Lobster. Yeah, I think that in terms of the rugby itself, only covering the 3 games this weekend is probably one of the more quieter ones that we've had. But yeah, there's not really such a thing as a quiet rugby weekend, is there? There's always plenty of games playing, says Harry. Well, hopefully they end up going all right then. I'd assume that's for Bristol rather than Powell. Pink icing in second spot. So is that a strawberry donut? I don't mind a strawberry donut. In fact, if I had to pick a fruit-flavoured donut, strawberry would probably be up there. Now off to the right-hand side. Chance to get an attack going here for the Bulls with Marcel Kutsia dragged down about 40 metres out from the opposition line. Kobus Vesa has hung on to that one. Like I mentioned, had a few handling issues in the last game. James Williams, Jimmy Hallowell, and Aidan Bonoff. Yes, they are Bears. Do you use Pillock as slur? Not in New Zealand, I wouldn't say. Oh, that's a loose ball picked up by the Bulls in the in-goal area. Can't quite force it down, and that's a hard collision with the barricade as well there. For Devin Williams, he's hurt his knee. In fact, I think it might be, yeah, that's made of wood. I thought that was soft. Like the barricade behind, and maybe Devin Williams did too, but he's gone flying into it full tilt. Yeah, that is made of wood. He tries to slam it down, does end up knocking it on in the in-goal area, so I believe it would be a 5-metre scrum for the Northampton Saints, but then just goes bundling into it. Looks like he's going to be all right, but that's now 2 early knee injuries that almost happened here. And, in fact, the other knee injury is too substantial. Zach Berger making his way off the field. Oh, we get them out for a while at least. Says, hey, no, how's it, Hamish? Hope you're well. Says Anthony, I'm doing better than Zach Berger, who has just made his way off due to that early knee injury that he sustained in the first 50 seconds of this contest. Papia now has to play the last 70 of this game. In fact, it's going to be a goal line dropout in this case for the Saints. And that ball's going to go into the hands, or at least it was in the hands of the Bulls briefly before Dingwall ended up with the ball. Bulls forwards look massive. Says Ali Woodard, I think a blueberry donut might be a good idea, or would be a good idea. Yeah, see, I've never actually had a blueberry donut. I've just realised from all these donuts that I said I haven't had a lot of donuts in my time. I'm a very basic individual. I had a cinnamon and a chocolate one. That's about as far as it goes, and also a strawberry. Oh, that's a knock on the ground from the Bulls. Update on the Bears game. Max Lahif and Lewis Rezeman are out, and Jimmy Hallowell and Ben Elizalde are in. Oh, I don't even know that Ben Elizalde played for them. That one's gone back. He is the Argentinian 7 fella, right? Unless I'm getting my players mixed up. I know that there is an Elizalde, though, from that Los Pumas setup. Now, first scrum of the day. 12 minutes into this contest. Currently still 7-0 in favour of the Northampton Saints. The Portuguese do a custard tart to die for. Do you have to go to Portugal specifically, like to have the absolute best one, or can you get them like internationally as well, DJ? I don't think I've had a lot of Portuguese food in my time. What's a Portuguese like dish, food-wise, other than a Portuguese donut or the Portuguese custard tart? I don't know. I probably haven't had any Portuguese food. Johan Ackerman, the head coach of the Bulls, he is watching on with anticipation here. Of course, Jake White out the door for this Bulls side. And the new opportunity for the coaches, but scrum feed now still around that halfway line. Probably a few minutes will get used up in this game due to scrum resets. We are used to that in these matches. Now ready to put it in, Alex Mitchell. Just the one try on the board. So for the Bulls, like I mentioned, even if they concede, I want to exaggerate here, but even if they concede 8 tries, as long as they score 4 of their own, That's the main thing. Sorry, but the European field sucks to play. Safe rugby, especially the fake grass. Says Juice. Is this a fake grass stadium? This looks like real grass to me. I assume you're talking about that Glasgow-Toulouse game, right? Because that was on that 4G turf. But yeah, this turf is being ripped up big time. That's not Marcel Coetzee. They played for South Africa. Is it? He is fairly old now. Yeah, he is up there in terms of age, Marcel Coetzee, but he did get some South African caps back in the day, I believe. 1 second. He is 34 years of age. And yes, it is that same Marcel Coetzee. He has had a few captaining opportunities for the Bulls throughout the last kind of couple years or so. Yes, there's Juicy. And also we have got their custard slices from Greg's Bakery. Yum. Now ready to throw this one in. Oh, it's going to be nicely claimed by Alex Mitchell. The Saints now have themselves possession. A nice offload there going to Alex Coles. The Alex is linking up. Franklin's Garden is real. Kingsholm Stone X are the two Prem grounds with fake grass. Marcel Coetzee's last cap was the home loss against Wales in 2022, says Mohammed. Now Blue told to roll out of that breakdown. Alex Mitchell having a fight for that ball. Now can't quite decide which way he wants to go. In the end decides that right would be the way. That looks the more dangerous, trying to get it back out to Slateholm's wing, but Furbank tackled beforehand. Now across the hands of Pearson. Now left-hand side, Finn Smith tries the little grubber in behind it. Sits up though for Cade Volhata. Done well at the back. Espatada, prawns and prego steak. Yeah, I haven't had any of those. Actually, yeah, I haven't had prawns at all in my lifetime. What's better, prawns or shrimp, in people's opinions? Because I don't really know much of the difference. But now this one's going to be kicked downfield for Ambroise Papier. Killing that one back infield so it doesn't find touch. Now the Saints, the counter-attacking chance to run through it was Furbank. Tackled by Aka van der Merwe and J.F. van Heeren. Now back across to the right. So inside of the field of play here for the Saints and looking to get a few more phases going. Neither, says Harry and Luck, for which one's better. Now Joe Hendy can't get through. Or sorry, it is actually George Hendy. Out turnover there for the Bulls in the breakdown. Nicely done. Bringing it up with Harold Foster. Already 16 minutes through this contest. It's been going very quickly at the moment. Volhata goes across to Devin Williams. He's running it towards this near touch line. Sergio Peterson, first touch of the day for him. Low tackle made. Trinchado and spicy beef stew. You see, I haven't had either of those either. I'm going to have to go to Portugal at some stage, find all these new cuisine options. You need to come to South Africa, so many great Portuguese restaurants. Says please and teas. Maybe that is the option. Instead, rather than going to Portugal specifically, I can just go somewhere that has Portuguese food. That would be a much easier option probably too. Now back across, Alex Mitchell. Another step there. Alex Coles, big shot on him in the breakdown, managing to rip it away, landing on his forehead for J.F. van Heeren, but it has forced the turnover. Now Ambroise Papier chipped in behind once more. Side of the Northampton Saints 22. Was that outside of the 22? Oh, it doesn't matter because it's going to bounce in the field of play back inwards. That is a fantastic kick from the Saints fullback. Why is your Saints team sheet wrong with 9? Says Harry and Luck, because I haven't actually looked at it, if I'm honest. Oh, yeah, it has Maxime Luku as the number 9. I have just been downloading them and then going straight into the live stream. That one's going to be kicked in a touch from Henry Pollock on the full. As an away game, says Cool Story Sharks. Yeah, it is the away game for the Bulls, which is why they have left out the likes of a Villy LaRue, Hondre Pollard, and all those type of players. Yes, come over for the rivalry, says Please and Tease. And one has gone into touch. Pollock just apologising there. He said there was a little bit of space that he wanted to kick that ball into. Now Aka van der Merwe ready to throw this ball, and all that was almost stolen by the Saints, even though they did try and go quickly there. The Bulls, van der Merwe gets through 2 tackles. Eventually almost turned into a rolling maul, but they freed up the pass. Cade Volhata tried to kick that ball. It's gone almost backwards. Claimed by the Saints, number 12, Fraser Dingwall. But Chilau and Salted Cod. Says Phillip and Zach Berger kicked away uncontested. Up and unders, all power, no brains at the moment. Says Ali Wood, although he is off the field, Zach Berger, at this point in time. He did go off relatively early due to that knee injury. So you'd have to wonder whether or not he was 100% when he was doing them. Allow you have Luku on your Northampton lineup instead of Alex. Yeah, although I did not do it myself. I should have probably proofread it before the live stream. So that's on me. That's going to be for offside against the Bulls now. Penalty going against the Saints. And Bristol go away to the Bulls in January. And they said to be talking or taking a full strength 23. And Cabrito, baby goat. Is a baby goat called a kid? I guess it sounds a bit weird if you're saying I'm going to eat a kid, doesn't it? So it probably sounds better saying I'm going to eat a baby goat. I did send you an email as well, Philip. I did finally reply to your one that I did find yesterday. Looks like a bit of an injury here for one of the Saints players. It might be Fraser Dingwall down at the moment. Can we have the ball, please? Says, hey, no, yeah, not a huge amount of possession for the Bulls, but when they have had it, they've just kicked it straight back to the Saints. Oh, no, in fact, it's going to be Rory Hutchison who makes his way off the field rather than Dingwall. Just a little bit of a conversation. Holly Davidson and Eldrick Lowe having a chat there. The tongue twister will be Sale versus Sharks. Says Sean O'Farrell. Yeah, I'll have to make sure I don't just specifically say the Sharks. I'll have to say Sale Sharks for their side. But we are going to be covering that game when it comes around the corner. Yes, receive, thank you. Says Philip in there as well. But speaking of the games around the corner, these are all the matches taking place for the next round of the Champions Cup. Now, as you can see, it's 4 weeks away. So we've got a little bit of time till the next one gets underway. That's going to be a knock-on from George Hendy. Now, ball is back in the hands of the Bulls. Akafana Merva ripping it off Stedman Hans to try and make a couple extra metres there. Now, Harold Foster. They can go there from Kobus Vesa. And they're just, unfortunately, getting the ball in the wrong parts of the field at the moment for the Bulls. Ostrofino Jacobs. He was looking up to see who was going to tackle him. Ends up dropping possession. I'll go back for, yet again, another knock-on. I see it's Ambrose. Says Ali Wood. And yeah, I think that injury for Zach Berger happened about 60 seconds into the game. Which games will you cover? I haven't worked that one out yet. I know that next week, in terms of games that I'm going to be covering, I think there's 2 or 3 that we will be doing on the channel, but I haven't looked that far ahead in terms of the schedule. Bull system not looking aligned so far, very disjointed, says Papa Kadush. And also, hi, Olin Hamish, says Robert. But yeah, the Bulls, they haven't quite gelled throughout this contest. And to be fair, there were times up against Bordeaux that they weren't quite gelling either. But also, I do think that they did quite nicely. Baby goat is called a lamb. Is it? I thought it was a baby sheep was a lamb. And then baby goat's called a kid. I could be wrong, though. We might have to Google it. We'll go, what is a baby goat called? What is a baby goat called? We've got a scrum at the moment, so there's plenty of time. Baby goat called. Baby goat is called a kid, a term used for young goats of either gender. Buckling for young males and doling for young females. The act of giving birth is known as kidding. It sounds like, what if your goat's like having birth and you're just like, oh, it's just kidding. You'd think, yeah, never mind. I was talking Portuguese Christmas sweets, things on Friday. Loads of easy recipes, baby goat kid. Says DJ. And also we got there, please, can you do both Gloucester and Bristol? Who are they playing? I actually missed when I popped that up on the screen. Bristol Bulls we will be covering. Edinburgh, Gloucester probably not, as that will be on Saturday morning. So I don't think I'll get a chance to be able to cover that one, unfortunately, as I'm normally busy Saturday mornings this point of time. Now, ball in the hand of George Hendy around the halfway line. Back across to the right. Not held. Going to try and get back up to his feet. Alex Mitchell off to the right-hand side. Popping it in behind. This is dangerous for the Saints. The wide cut-out pass. Rush defence from Devin Williams and Ollie Slateholm. Does drop the ball. Grubbers it in behind. Strafino Jacobs. The ball sits up from. He'll have the pace and the Bulls will score. The first time that they have visited the opposition half, let alone the 22, for quite some time. And Strafino Jacobs, the man who manages to score it. He showed some nice pace there down the wing, but it all came from that handling error down the other end of the field from Ollie Slateholm. We're going to see the replay here, just ripping that ball out of the hands from Devin Williams on Slateholm, forcing the knock on, and then that ball sits up beautifully for Stravino Jacobs down the wing. Try, says Philip there. And good one, says Please and Tease, and Lecker Balls, says Miami Rocker. And there as well. And yes, come on, says Hey No. But that's the thing. That's going to be frustrating for Northampton Saints, because they have spent all of this half on attack just to now potentially be on the same amount of points as their opposition, who've only had like one real attacking chance. But Cade Volhart has missed that one away to the side, so that is going to make the score 7 points to 5. We can watch this as Deanna, whereabouts in the world are you trying to watch from? Deanna, most options around the world are EPCR TV. It is at least that way for New Zealand, Australia, and a few other locations. Will you do any Prem games soon? As next week, 2 big games, Leicester versus Gloucester for the Status Cup. I don't think we'll have a massive amount of Gallagher Premiership coming up on the channel. Not that I know of, anyway. Quins versus Bristol at Twickenham. Says Harry and Luck. That normally is a decent game. To be fair, I saw that the Harlequins got themselves a good win just recently over Bayonne. That one's going to be knocked on by the Saints. Off kickoff, and Elric Lowe now breaking the line for the Bulls. Offloading on the outside at Jaya Whaniura. Ball on the inside. Great hands from Harold Foster. And just in this last minute or so, it seems like the Bulls have completely changed the momentum Middle East, says Dan. I'll have a quick look on the Champions Cup website while the Bulls create another attacking chance. About 30 metres out from the line at the moment for this Bulls side. Almost turned into a rolling mill. Someone's boot's gone off. Looks like the foot of the attacking player. Yeah, Marcel Kutsia is currently a one-boot wonder out there on the field. But Ambros Papia waiting for the ball. Oh, advantage against Ollie Slate. Home come the Bulls. You can do it. And at the moment, they are definitely feeling a little bit more confidence. Just in this last little moment, another penalty does go the way of the Bulls. Right, where to watch? Referee did say no in terms of the watching option. Right. Where are we? Surprisingly, I would... Southeast Asia's Premier Sports. Portugal is Sport TV. I think it would have to be EPCR TV, but it doesn't actually have it listed on their website per se, although I think it might actually be specific countries. Other territory is all EPCR TV. Oh, not straight from the Bulls. Line-out time, that is one of the bigger mistakes that they have made in recent times. Which competition is more exciting, Champions Cup or URC? I would say the later stages of the Champions Cup get very exciting. The early stages, normally what happens is, of the groups, you get 12 games a weekend, and you get yourself, I would say, maybe 3 or 4 good games out of those 12. The rest are pretty one-sided. Thanks, mate, says Deanna. No worries at all. Hopefully it is there, but on EPCR TV, they have got the match pass option or the whole season pass, which might be your best bet if you are a regular watcher of this Champions Cup competition. They have weekend passes too if you just want specific weekends of the action. But they have also got the option of watching all the replays of every single game that has taken place. And go for touch. Come on now, boys. What is this? Says Haino. I mean, they did go for touch, but they sadly did not quite get it right for the Bulls. They've been told to use it there with Alex Mitchell. Both front rows standing up at the scrum time, so they will have themselves another reset. This game has been going very quickly at this point in time, which is roughly what you would expect in two sides that I would say are relatively attacking. They also have kept that attacking mindset at times throughout this contest. Hamish, what will you do if the ballroom doesn't go up at the White House, or are more focused on rugby this weekend? Definitely more focused on rugby this weekend. I didn't even know that they needed a new ballroom. I assume that they'd probably have a spare one though, wouldn't they, in a big building like that? Alex Mitchell, ready for the scrum again. They are still inside of their own 22, the Northampton Saints. I got 6 inches of snow outside. That's a lot of snow. Was it supposed to snow, or is it just a random that's just decided it's going to absolutely, I was going to say pour down, but I don't know what you say when it's absolutely bucketing down snow. Still doesn't sound right, does it? Now, line out throw for Northampton Saints. Still 38 metres from their try line. Like they've said, Bulls, they had that great opportunity not too long ago to be able to get something going and sadly couldn't make much of it. That one's going to be slapped back by Alex Coles. Well claimed, but a big shot coming in. Oh, and it would have been Trevor Davison. Haven't seen a huge amount of Danilo Fischetti as of yet for the Northampton Saints. They predicted it. Says Robert. That's one thing I really want to do in my lifetime is get one of those big snow shovels and clear a driveway. I don't know why. It just looks very satisfying on all the videos that you see of people doing it. So hopefully you have got a driveway that you're able to clear, Robert. And it is very satisfying. Now, Harold Foster, tried to go for a kick there and actually missed the ball. It's actually something that we've seen a couple times as of lately. Kane and Moody did it a couple weeks ago as well. Little kicker behind from the Saints, and that one will go into touch. Didn't end up. Oh, it did clip the hand of Sergio Pedersen, so it will now be the line out for the Saints. I'm just going to see now. Yes, deflected off actually the shin of Jaya van Heeren. Only once, says Please and Tease. You should organise live ground audio feed with your commentary, says Papa Kadush. I think that goes against the copyright infringement. Unfortunately, even like just stadium audio of the actual game, maybe just like general sound, I think I could get away with, but it would be hard to make it match what's happening in the game, if that makes sense. But yeah, I think they're pretty strict with that, sadly. But to be fair, I feel like Premiership as well as Top 14, they seem to be a little bit ahead in terms of the copyright side of things, so maybe it is all right for certain games and those comps. I'm not sure about Champions Cup though, but yeah, it would be pretty cool to be able to do something like that, or even just to have the referee mic so that you guys know roughly what the refs are deciding on. I think it would be great in a year or two. Give them time to adjust with Johan, says Ethan. And also, where are you, Robert, says Akaris, and America is a mess now, says Miami Rocker. And also, we have got the almond jersey in the US. So yeah, I see what you mean about sides putting up weaker teams for away games. Yeah, and it's something that, like, quite a few sides have done. And like, it just is the reality of this Champions Cup competition because it is in such a hectic time of the year for rugby, and a lot of sides trying to do their best to stay where they are in their regular seasons, such as the URC and Premiership. It means that they don't want to lose that ground, but now going across to the right-hand side, kicked in behind here for the Saints again, just trying to force the balls deep into their own half. Big bump on Sergio Pedersen, who was driven into touch, initially running at Slate home, and then getting pushed to the side. And man, the Bulls have all the power, but geez, playing some poor rugby, says Salah. And you do get some severe winters occasionally, says Akaris. In there too. One moment, I'm about to sneeze, so I will very quickly mute myself. We are good, I think. I'll have a 3 or no, in fact, it's almost 5 a.m. sneeze in the morning, but now the Saints are on attack. Alex Mitchell. Big driving tackle on him. Decent defence from the Bulls throughout this match so far, only conceding the once. The first 31 minutes, the Saints also conceding throughout that period of time. Mitchell now going across to Finn Smith. Oh, that was an awkward landing. Almost landed face first on the turf. Big shot on Craig Wright. 9 minutes remaining in this first half period. The Saints, they'd like nothing less than 2 tries, I would think, throughout this first half to just get closer to that bonus point. Mitchell back across again. Good hands from Josh Kimmoney. Now across, Ben Smith goes to Henry Pollock, gets through Stedman Hahn's tackle. Now chipped him behind from Alex Mitchell. Chasing after this one was George Hendy. Oh, okay, he gets driven into touch there for Devon Williams. He's hit another barricade. That's the second one that he's hit today. That one luckily had some sort of padding on it rather than just wood. Don't concede, says Hayno. What time is it by you? At the moment it is 4:49 a.m. here in New Zealand on a Monday morning. Yeah, Williams just had no option but to go into touch there. And he's having a tough old run. Every time that he goes close to the sideline, he gets pushed into the barricade. But you say word for word what you hear from the refs. That is true. Although they probably describe it a little bit better than myself with a bit more of a straight face. I normally make that face when I'm trying to listen. Makes it look like I'm half confused. Looks like the injury here for Craig Wright. And it's the heavily strapped right knee for that man. And a little bit of a knee rub from the medics. Okay, she's just gone off to see whether or not he will be able to continue. By the time you head into work, says Ethan. I think it will probably be around 8 a.m. for today. So pretty much after this game, which will finish at about 6 a.m. New Zealand time, I'll end up sleeping for maybe maybe about 90 minutes. Get a little bit of a snooze in. So you on holiday? No, not yet. Probably about next week, I would say, or next week New Zealand time. That'll be around the 20th or so. A little bit more strapping going on to Craig Wright's leg. In fact, this time they're strapping up his foot. So obviously it's just a whole leg situation for him. That knee is already, like I mentioned earlier on, heavily strapped. And that is what they were actually playing with when they were trying to see whether or not he could continue in this game. 32 minutes in. At the moment, they have got the replacement hooker on the sideline just in case. This rugby field does not sound safe either, to be honest. I don't know if it's the field. It was actually the tackle made on him. But this turf is literal turf. Like, there are marks where the scrums have taken place and they've ripped up the ground. So I don't think it's the pitch that's the problem. It's the contact from these two sides. Zach Berger earlier on was from a big shot to his knee. The one for Craig Wright was also a knee shot. Oh, that ball's going to be dropped there by the Saints. They have got themselves the penalty advantage, though, but I think they may have knocked that one on in the rolling maul. In fact, they have noticed it, so they are going to go back for the original penalty. Thrown across at the line out is the call. Henry Pollock will take the quick tap. Going across to the right for the Northampton Saints, trying to turn it into a drive. And the Bulls are trying to turn it into a rolling maul. And ball is just short of the goal line now, though. Alex Mitchell goes off to the right. Ben Smith, quick hands, and it will be the second try of the match. Joe Hendy goes over. And one for each of the wings in this contest early on for the Saints. Bulls are not playing bad with the B team. Says Miami Rocky. Yeah, they've had some solid enough moments. That one will very much so disappoint them just because of how close it is to that halftime break and after they have defended so well for a long period of time. 90 minutes of sleep before you scale a skyscraper to do something drilling. What's New Zealand's tallest building? So many different things have happened in just that comment. I will mention, though, I slept before this live stream as well, so it's not too bad. Like, I got sleep between about 10 and 3. But New Zealand's tallest building, I want to say, would be the Auckland skyscraper. Maybe? Unless we got another one. What's New Zealand's tallest building? I think it would be the skyscraper, though. Or the sky tower, sorry, rather than skyscraper. In Auckland, and then after that, it is New Plymouth Power Station's chimney, which is 198 metres. Nice move there from the Saints. Just some quick hands and an outnumbering on the side where Sergio Peterson, he had to make the tackle on the inside and then space out on the wing. Kick has gone over as well, making the score 14 points to 5. Evening, Hamish. Appreciate the commentary. Says Tommy Tank Gaming. No worries at all. It's great to have you here for this matchup. Currently 9 points difference between these two sides. And thanks, got a run. Have a lick a day. Go the Bulls. Says Ali Wood. So yeah, we will see you later on, maybe next week, on those URC matches. Okay, so taller than anything in South Africa? I wouldn't guarantee that. What is South Africa's tallest building? Oh, you know, it's only 234 metres in Johannesburg is the tallest one there. Now going off to the right-hand side, the Bulls on the halfway line. Still inside of their own half, so a 50-22 could be on the cards here if they do decide to go for that kicking option, although I think the Saints would be back and ready for it if that was the case. And Bros Papia, the replacement halfback, goes back to Cade Vulhata, kicks it high. Awkward bouncing ball, that one's going to sit up though. Now going for the grubber in behind there, the Saints, and putting it into touch, just playing a little bit more of that territory game, and that turned into a very good kick in the end, just kept on rolling further and further down the field. I think we'll go like this. We'll go like that as well. And now it will be the line out for the Bulls. 58% possession in favour of the home side, the Saints here. And probably about the same for territory, I would think. We haven't really seen them on attack for a huge amount of this half. But they did get that breakaway try of Stravino Jacobs, which I think is a massive one for them. Oh, what's happened there? I think that one of the players for the Bulls actually slipped over at line-out time, which you don't see too often whatsoever. Ambros Papia always calling for his forwards. He is not happy with the lack of support that he's got. Takes this one downfield now. Nicely taken by Ollie Sladeholm, just inside of his own half there for the Saints. Might look for another attacking chance just before the end of this first half. 36 minutes through at the moment in that 9-point lead. Oh no, Mitchell's going for the box kick in behind again. They're waiting for this one to come down. Nicely taken by Cade Vulhata. This game's at a little bit of a grinding halt at the moment. It seems like both sides don't want to make that mistake before the halftime break. Bulls starting to get a little bit more of the possession, but it's sadly for them the only options that they've had because they're so far in their own half has been to just kick that ball downfield. Bros Papia now once again rolling it back. We're going to see another box kick from this Bulls side. We have hardly seen them test out their attack throughout this first 37 minutes of the game. Stravino Jacobs knocks it back onto the side of the Bulls. They've got a bit of a breakaway chance here, but a loose possession picked up now. Devin Williams. Now Van der Mesh looking for the offload. No, they're going to go back for a knock-on coming from Williams initially. But it just seems like they're not quite flowing at the moment, the Bulls. One moment. I will sneeze again. We are good. I'm actually getting pretty good at holding sneezes up until I mute and hide. Tom Pearson playing number 7 for this contest. That loose forward trio for the Saints have been busy throughout this match. Josh Kimmini and Henry Pollock also in the mix there. But Tom Pearson doing very nicely. Looks like he's got a banged up ear and a bit of a black eye as well. Now, just the 2 minutes remaining in this half. 9 points difference between these two teams. Alex Mitchell ready to put that ball in again. Bulls were doing so well, but then just conceding that 5 minutes ago. They haven't looked like conceding again since then, though, and I possibly have jinxed that now with this attack coming from the Northampton Saints. Skip pass on the outside. Fraser Dingwall sod the dummy. Great tackle on him by Marcel Kutzia, and he is now forced to knock on. It's been a fair few of them, and I think that is something else that has taken a little bit of the speed out of the game, is the fact that there have been so many knock-ons. Just that most recent 5 to 10 minutes, it was another missed tackle from Stravino Jacobs. Fraser Dingwall frustrated there that he wasn't able to hang on to it, but it will be the Bulls' scrum feed opportunity from just outside of their 22. In fact, no, sorry, just inside of the 22. So again, even if they win the scrum, they are in the wrong part of town when it comes to this territory game. Now currently 50 seconds left in the half. If they can get out of this half 9 points down, the Bulls, I think that they'd probably take that. With the fact that they were expected to lose this game by quite a big margin. Still well and truly within getting back into the contest. Ambros Papia feeding it in. Gone down on the front row. Penalty won by the Bulls. That is exactly what they would have wanted. They can now kick that one downfield, put it into touch. And Bulls and Sharks slipping into deep water, says Jan. And there, yeah, the Sharks pulling off that win over Saracens. Tell you what, Saracens, at the end of that game, I've watched it again, like those final moments. They made such a wrong decision by going for that cross kick rather than just trying to hit that ball up and continue going for phases. They possibly could have won or possibly drawn if not won that game had they just used their forwards, but instead going for that risk, and the Sharks pulling off what was a massive victory for that side. And then the Bulls, not many gave them a lot of chance in this game because of the selection choices and whatnot, but I'd say they're holding their weight at the moment. Definitely with the fact, like I mentioned, they probably had about less than a minute inside of the Northampton Saints half. We need points before halftime, and they've got a golden opportunity to be able to do that now. And Bros Papia, okay, so they won the penalty. They went up to halfway, went for a little bit of a rolling maul, didn't go forward, put it back into the pocket and kicked it into touch. That just seems like an interesting choice. Wired New Zealand guy talking us through a game at 4 a.m. I'm watching this from Kuala Lumpur. I believe that would be for Colin Franks. Well, welcome into the game. He currently just ticked over the 5 AM mark here in New Zealand. Currently 14 points to 5. Score in this contest at halftime. The Bulls do it all right, is about what I'll say there. But I didn't like the fact that they kicked that ball out to end the half when they almost were inside of the Saints half. But obviously more concerned about the attacking threat of the Saints than their own attacking ability there, the Vodacom Bulls. But at the same time, I guess if they concede there, then they're pretty much out of the game. So they've made a good decision in that regard. But we'll have to wait and see what happens at the start of the second half, whether or not that is one of the few opportunities that the Bulls could have actually had of attacking throughout this game. You've got about a 10 or so minute break now between the halves before they do get back underway. Just looking through at what happened in the first round of the Champions Cup competition. We did see in the end a good win coming for Bordeaux up against the Bulls. It was a very intriguing type of matchup. And then on the other side of things, the Northampton Saints, they had a brilliant away win up against Poe. They were able to win at 35 points to 27, so actually stopping Poe from getting any sort of bonus point from that game, as they weren't able to score the 4 tries in that contest either. So far, performance of the round's probably a tricky one. Now, of course, these are not the games that have taken place for this round, but Glasgow's got to be up there in terms of what they were able to do in the second half up against Toulouse. Great game from the Harlequins just recently, looking really strong throughout that contest. The Sharks get the win at home up against Saracens in what was a very tough game. Stormers doing well too. It's actually quite hard to decide who would have game of the round. I think that match of the round probably goes close to Toulouse-Glasgow. Challenge Cup-wise, Exeter Chiefs versus Racing 92's got to be up there for the way that game finished. But plenty to decide on. The Bulls, says Titanium. As in like the name of the team, or I'm confused. And well, Exeter and Racing drew. Yeah, last minute try for Racing after repeat infringements from the Exeter Chiefs, and then eventually 5 metres out, just going for that quick tap and getting over the line to close it out. For me, match of the round is Leinster game. Says, I know, yeah, Leinster versus Leicester wasn't too bad of a contest there either. I would have liked to see it be a little bit closer, I'll be honest. I would have loved to see that game, just a little bit more squeezed between the sides. Bulls kicking game needs revision, and Bulls defence has kind of improved. And also we have got there as well, I expected a higher score. I actually did too, to be fair. There were talks of that Northampton Saints side of whether or not 40 or 50 could be on the cards, and it has been a little bit of a timid half from the Bulls, I will say. But the Saints, when they're on attack, they do look dangerous. The Bulls, they've only had one attack throughout pretty much this whole game. Hamish, I was right that Gregor Townsend is a bad coach. Look what Glasgow's players managed to achieve under Franco's coaching, says Powerbite. So you're giving all of the credit in that game to the new coach, right? Rather than the Glasgow established players, whoever they're Bulls, as in what's wrong with them. Oh, they've gone with a bit of an experimental side in this contest, but also at the same time, they just can't hold on to a ball. They like to drop it quite often, and that doesn't help. They've only had really one attacking chance. They've had 44% of the possession in this game, 2 clean breaks compared to Northampton's 5, 3 defenders beaten compared to Northampton's 7. So not a lot of stats. They are actually winning in this game at the moment, the Bulls, and their try actually came from a breakaway. The Sky Tower is not really a building exactly. Really cool, as you get an idea of how tall the Empire State Building is when going to see it. So here's a cool story. Does any of the Bulls supporters have any hair left after the half of rugby? Says Sally. It would have been a frustrating one, that is for sure. And all the credit goes to Franco Smith for Glasgow's result, says Powerbite 92. And overall, the problem for us the season is coaching problems and some of the players not up to the standards, says Hayno. And Bulls will lose 100%. Saints do good at home, says Steve. I think the biggest concern for the Bulls has just been the lack of opportunity that they've had throughout this half. Every time that they've had that ball, even I would say 40 metres out from their line, box kick or something downfield, giving the possession straight back to the Saints. Bulls are straight out mucking this up. Pouring the lineouts too, killing momentum, says Titanium. Yeah, like if they can just play the ball a little bit more, get it in their hands, keep the position, I would say, let's just say, for instance, second half they switch position and we end up seeing around 55-60% position for the Bulls, they could actually win this game. But they just don't seem like they've got that intent at the moment. For today, it's been good. players making silly mistakes, says Haino. And you've been too kind. Sorry, for me, the Bulls have been poor, says Salah. Yeah, don't get me wrong. They drop the ball a lot. And they also haven't been able to get out of their own half to save themselves. But I feel like there are still a few X-Factor players across that lineup that can change a game. Sergio Peterson's touched the ball, I think, once throughout that whole half. Oh, I was wondering what those kids were chanting, and it's "Come on, Saints." Even someone like an Eldrick Lowe. You know, he had one decent carry throughout that half in the middle of the field, created a bit of a line break. That was just after we did see the Saints concede, so it showed that they were a little bit susceptible to a counter-attack when momentum wasn't on their side, but they've had a lot of momentum throughout that first 40 minutes. Bulls playing similar to Saracens yesterday, kicking away too much? I think so. And that was the thing that actually hurt the Saracens in the end. The fact that they went for that cross kick in the closing moments of the game rather than just hitting it up with the forwards under penalty advantage. And you just get that feeling like if this game is close, we might see the Bulls do the same thing of going for a box kick when they're only 25 metres out from the opposition line or something like that and end up giving it away. And the Bulls to win, says Mukesh. And yeah, we did see the one try from Stravino Jacobs throughout the half. I did say for the Bulls, if they are going to lose this game, they need minimum 1 bonus point from the contest. Of course, 2 would be ideal if they can get themselves 3 tries throughout this 40 minutes and also be within 7. Although 3 tries from here might almost win this game with the closeness of these two sides. Off of the bench, we've already seen the change made of Ambroise Papier. Had to make his way on for the injured Zach Berger, who did actually lasted about 17 minutes of the game, but he was injured within the first 60 seconds. Keegan Johannes still to make his way off the bench. Van Nijkerk is there as well. Nassim Carr. Got a few decent, handy guys make their way off of that bench. Good afternoon, rugby fans. Says Jimbo, welcome up. You're doing extremely well. And give the Bulls a couple of smack in the changing rooms. Says Salah. It would help if they could slot the ball too. Says Titanium. Well, even just that first decision from Cade Vulharte and his Bulls side to go for a kick from over 50 metres out. Like, I get getting the early momentum. If that goes over, you're 3-0 up, right? But, like, straight away, the intent from this Bulls side should have been just attacking-minded all the time. And when you look to take a 3-pointer within, like, a first few minutes of the game, when it is miles out from the posts, it just didn't seem like they had that attacking mindset that they needed heading into this game. Because they should be going all out, and if they had gone for an attack there, perhaps we would have seen them run the ball a little bit more. Throughout the half, Maxime Luku, yeah, it is actually not Maxime Luku in the number 9 jersey, it is Alex Mitchell. I do need to proofread these before I get sent them for the lineups, of course, which I didn't do on this one, so that has backfired on me a little bit. We have got their balls full of bull. They need to look at the rugby video game to get an idea. Well, hopefully they don't look at Rugby 25 because that game's still awful. I tried to play it the other day, and it's just not good, unfortunately. Hopefully it gets there, though. We have got there, can't get this game on TV, watching Toulon versus Bath, and just got back from the bench looking like a tomato. And now I see the Bulls will probably lose. What a good day. Says, how's it? And the Bulls has to win, says Keenan. We have got there, sorry, that's on me. I was changing the Bordeaux lineup, that's why. Says Haino, and True kicking too far out, bad decision making. Let's hope they get back into this. And the thing is, there are only minor adjustments that could actually make a huge difference for this Bulls side. And maybe it sounds like I'm a little bit too optimistic, and I know that some Bulls supporters probably hate me saying that if they make a couple switches, it could actually go well for them here because, you know, they've lived that frustration of watching the side time and time again make those same silly errors. And yeah, it seems like the Bulls would rather a defensive loss than an attacking chance in this one. I don't know. Maybe I'm being a little bit too critical on them, but I just think they have to go for it here. Because worst case scenario, you lose. How's Volhard been playing? He's been pretty poor, but once again, they aren't really giving him a lot of attacking opportunities. All his job has been to do throughout this game is take the box or like take the ball off Ambroise Papier and kick it downfield. We haven't seen a lot of that attacking that Volhard has, which a lot of people were excited to see when he was named as that number 10. And perhaps they will give Keegan Johannes a bit more of an opportunity to use it. What a sad day at the beach in Sydney. I haven't seen what happened at the beach in Sydney. We have there the Bulls have to power to through the front door. You're 100% correct, says Juicy, and still buzzing after what the Warriors did to Antoine last night, says Jimbo. Well, to lose, I guess you could say, in general. Antoine Dupont actually had a decent game overall, scored himself that early try in the fixture. But yeah, it was a brilliant comeback from Glasgow in that contest. But are they playing Christmas songs at the ground? By the sounds of it, they are. A few of the reserves just doing a bit of warming up. They will be needed throughout this contest. Some lunatic, oh, okay, I haven't even heard about it. See, that's probably my biggest problem about, like world news. I know nothing about what's happening. I heard Dupont was passing forward like a quarterback last night. Yeah, there was a forward pass, or at least it looked that way, that they didn't even they didn't check or anything at the time. I hate Christmas, says Salah. Do you? It's normally all right for a couple days off, though, when it comes to work and whatnot. Even if you don't like Christmas, a couple days where you don't have to work, surely that's all right, isn't it? Second half of this contest getting very close. Like I mentioned, benches to make a bit of an impact. And the Saints bench overall actually doesn't, or at least it doesn't seem to have that same experience as the Bulls have, with someone like a Nassim Carr off of that bench. Although other than him, there is probably a little bit of a lack of experience for the Bulls there as well. How did Glasgow win? Yeah, they just came back phenomenally. Like I mentioned, I watched the first about 30 minutes of that game when it was 21-0. Because, Thomas Ramos just doesn't seem to miss when it comes to conversions. So 21-0, I went, right, I'm going to watch the rest of it later. We have got there, ball didn't go for, but his buddy was in front of him. Surely he's offside, says Jimbo. You see, that's one that they probably don't look at a huge amount in terms of if a player was in front of the pass. Oh, they're having a little bit of a cheer, so it might be the case where both sides are just about to make their way back out onto the field. Did you put up your Christmas tree? Actually, not yet, no. But we will have to do that before Christmas because we're having people here for lunch and you're supposed to have a Christmas tree. So I'd say in 9 days' time, that's when we'll put it up. Toulon is beating Bath right now. Oh, that's a big result. Because Bath are handy. But then saying that, Toulon are at home, aren't they? Emailed you updated one. Apologies, guys. Next week I'll have it all correct. Says Hano. And then 1 second, I'll go like this. I will go like that as well. Both sides just in the huddle, which means that they are very close to getting ready for the second half. I'll click this button with a little bit of luck. And we'll go like this, like that, and like that. And hopefully it will magically change. It's tight, but Toulon players are cracking it up, says Jimbo. Interback plans were going Interback plans well going forward. Plays like a drain when his team is going backwards. Says Bowbite. Toulon is beating Bath. And who looked the best so far this championship? I'd say Bordeaux, looking very handy, getting that away win up against the Bulls, and then also managing to get themselves the home win just recently. So yeah, I'd probably go Bordeaux if I had to pick anyone who does look like once again a real contender. And at the end of the day, they are the defending champs of the competition. Your left side be visiting team. Thanks for your first reply. A bit of a challenge, but worth the effort, says David Simpson. And there as well. Now, second half. This time the Bulls will be going from right to left. And Saints from left to right. Well, the second half looks like Howard Foster just having a little bit of a stretch at the moment. And Marcel Kutsia, he hasn't actually made his way out onto the field for the second half. Instead it is going to be Nassim Carr. So making that early switch, so frustrating to watch the Bulls because they are better and then they are playing last few weeks. Well, it just seems to be tactically. They don't want to go for that same level of attack that the Bulls were kind of known for when they were in their best time. Only 1 or 2 years ago when they were winning every single game, or winning a majority of them, that was because they were scoring points. Continuing to attack, there was often times where the Bulls would get 40, 50 or so points throughout a contest because they just kept on going. But they haven't got their mindset at the moment. They're trying to play a little bit, I would say, of a tactic that doesn't suit them. But it's going to be kicked off again. And that one's going to be knocked on early from the Bulls. That also hasn't helped with the handling. A great win for the Sharks against Saracens. A massive win for that Shark side. Looked like it was going to be shaping up for a draw for a majority of those last 5 minutes or so, but the ball in the hands of the Saints at the moment, and they will go away to the left-hand side. Now, the Bulls turned down a chance to be able to attack at the end of that first half. Is it going to cost them here near the start of the second? Now, backline movement. Mitchell, skip pass on the outside. Thought about going in. Alex Mitchell now back across to the left again. Oh, Mitchell. Didn't look like he had that ball initially, but he has managed to rip it out of the breakdown. Bulls looking for the steal with Aka Fundamerva, who couldn't quite get it. Now back to the left, Finn Smith goes to Alex Coles. A little bit stagnant on attack at the moment, the Saints. It's good defence from the Bulls. Once again, maybe that is why they are struggling on attack, because they're so focused on those defensive pods and structure that they don't want to let their attack slip up. Now Alex Mitchell across to the left-hand side again. Hopefully the Dragons win, and Leon leading the Dragons. And also we have their resting players for the Sharks, maybe a little bit. Oh, but at the same time, I think it's just the fact that it's an away game. And the hold-to-lose backline power bite, none of them are held under pressure. Okay, I think that Holly Davidson was just telling Alex Mitchell that he's not going to get the penalty for trying to milk it for the player being offside. Henry Pollock was just in touch, so it does mean that they will now go for the line out here, the Bulls. Side of their 22. I was most pleased with the Stormers and the Sharks, but the Bulls might ruin my weekend. So I assume you don't count the Lions in the mix there, cool story, as they did have their loss last minute. That was a brutal one for Newcastle, for the Lions. Looks like a bit of a sore head at the moment for one of the players. One moment, I will quickly sneeze while we have got a bit of a stoppage of play. It was well timed. A line out throw ready for Aka Fundamerva and his Bulls. Side of the 22 at the moment. So again, just on the wrong part of the field, but it is better than Northampton being on attack. Taken by Eldrick Lowe at line out time. In fact, that time was Jay Finhieran. Nassim Carr, first carry for him since making his way onto the park for Marcel Kutzia. Now rolling it back again. Brutal loss for Lions. At least my Super Brew was right. Says Haino. Harlequins won by 68 damn. Says Kahu. Oh, another tackle made. To the left-hand side. Oh, Henry Pollock, he ran almost an obstruction line there. Going to be play on. Alex Mitchell, left-hand side again. Finn Smith looking for the little grubber in behind. The Bulls having to try and claim it inside of their 22 with Devon Williams off his left boot. One does go into touch. Afternoon, Hamish. I've been in the countryside. Malmesbury hot. They're 38 degrees. And the Stormers and Warriors look like URC champs. Have they played each other yet? Says Jimbo. I don't think they'll play. Oh, what did they play in one of the earlier rounds? I think they either play early or they've got maybe about 6 or 7 weeks till they play. They might be that February. Or is it? Hang on. I'm going to find the exact answer to that one because I've confused myself now. Go here. We'll go to the Stormers. They play in 132 days' time. So I think it's in about 7 rounds that they face each other in the URC. But that's on the 25th of April up in the north. Ulster lost. That was brutal for them. Says Haino. Who's going to win, Poe or Bristol? That's actually a tricky one for me because Bristol are at home. But Poe will be a little bit frustrated. I think Bristol will take it. The Lions lost. I wouldn't have known. I don't know. Ignorance is bliss, Hamish. Says cool story. Yeah, they were leading for so long in that game. Just to then right at the end end up giving it away. Looks like the Saints have given away the free kick now. So Cade Volhati will have the opportunity to kick this one downfield. In fact, it was a penalty. They will get themselves the... Oh, he hasn't found touch with it. That is a coach killer right there for this Bulls side. They finally get the attacking chance and they blow it. Straight off the get-go, no pass on the outside. Or nice pass, I should say. Joe Hendy now stepping and the Saints are back on attack. Now Alex Mitchell off to the right-hand side. Alex Coles popping it in behind. Oh, drop ball though. And it's going to be the advantage in favour of the Bulls. They'll go back for the scrum. Both sides making a fair few errors at the start of the second half. We need Akafana to get the Bulls going. Says Ruth. Yeah, nice step there from, I believe it was Hutchison. He actually went off in the first half, but he has made his way back on. Now for this one, Saints come marching in, Hamish. Says Ruth there too. Yeah, just trying to get that passing going, and it was actually the big number 5, JJ van der Merch. Wasn't able to claim it. I enjoy the URC more, and we are creating good history in that comp, my opinion. Or what is yours on it? Says Juicy. From a neutral standpoint, I would say that I think more people enjoy the Champions Cup purely because of the fact that you get to see multiple different competitions play each other, which is something that in rugby is a bit of a limited experience, definitely at club level. So in terms of like watching it without a team, I think a lot of people prefer Champions Cup. Oh, that's a penalty now going the way of the Bulls at scrum time. Cade Volhata has to make sure this one goes out now. But in terms of I covered a lot of URC, and I do prefer the URC group stage matches compared to Champions Cup group stage, just a little bit at times. But it all depends on who plays who. Oh, he's missed touch again. Wait, that's literally a replay of what we just witnessed. The exact same kick, which means we're going to see the exact same attack now out to George Hendy. Surely Volhata would have learnt from that last one. And Lenson will be good in the knockouts. I'm so damn frustrated at the Bulls. Naive decisions made because only the head coach role at the Bulls has changed. Nothing else, says LJ the man. The Bulls getting destroyed. I don't know if I'd say destroyed. 9 points down up against the side that was supposed to beat them by about 25 or 30 is probably not bad at the moment, but they are almost destroying themselves. 2 in a row where Cade Volhata hasn't found touch when they finally would have started getting that attack going. Short side, Mitchell. Now goes across now, a bit of a spin attempted there from Tom Pearson. And ring on Johannes, says Heino, and that is going to be another penalty. This time going the way of the Saints. 47 minutes through this contest, so 2 tries to 1. Volhata, it's only 9 points. Come on, get a grip, Bulls. For me, International Union, Club Union, then League, then Sevens. Says Big Rick. We have anyone notice that Invested puts the results and the titles of its YouTube highlights and everyone gets mad in the comments? I can probably understand why. Because I know that sometimes when people put the score in their thumbnail, that has made people frustrated in the past. Mainly because of the fact that if you were going to watch the highlights without knowing who won, and you wanted to watch the highlights for the sake of getting to enjoy the game, you don't really get to enjoy it as much when you know who wins. So I can understand why they would. Plus, it doesn't really change too much, I wouldn't think. You're probably not getting more views because people see the score. In fact, it's probably less, I would think, unless you're a supporter of a certain side. I think a lot more people would prefer to watch a game that they don't know the result of on the highlights than a game that they've seen the result, kicked it behind, and George Hendy scores another try. He gets the double now for the Saints. Santiago try for Bath. Bulls embarrassing display, amateur. I'm a Blue Bulls fan, or Big Bulls fan for years now. Under Johan Ackerman, they are useless. Bring back Jake White. Says Brian Lee, and that is the 3rd try of the match for the Northampton Saints. It was bound to come after so many mistakes from the Bulls in quick succession, but it's that little grubber in behind from Finn Smith. Devin Williams looked like he was a little bit gassed and wasn't able to get back. Oh, well, it was good while it lasted. Says Aino there. There is a team who can break this French dominance. Who do you think can? Ooh. If they're at home, I think Leinster have a decent chance. I don't know. If I say a video, or if I see a video that says Sparv 72 Sharks 0, I'm clicking on it. Is that because of the Sharks losing by 72 though? For instance, Harlequins versus Bayonne, I think they ended up winning that game very comfortably. So going into that contest without knowing the score, I don't think it was going to be hugely close, but knowing it already, I probably won't watch the highlights of that game. Not on YouTube anyway. I'll probably watch it through the actual EPCR TV and just watch a full match replay and skip through the stoppages. But if you're the losing team and you haven't seen the result yet, as soon as you see that your side's lost, many people won't watch. They'd rather have that anticipation of what if our team does actually win. So we'll have a look at the highlights. It's a drop ball by the Bulls again, and they've actually dropped it about 3 times in a row, turned it into a knock-on, and Northampton will have themselves a scrum. Bayern look shook, just right off the season. Says, hey, no. Now we have got their, where are the Stormers on the Champions Cup? At the moment, the Stormers, they are sitting pretty decently in their group after getting themselves 2 wins. We've got, if we don't beat the Sharks. Yeah, see, that's an interesting game because the Sharks, it was a good win over Saracens, but they still made quite a few errors throughout that game. I will mention that kick went over as well, so 21-5 at the moment. But currently the Stormers are at the top of their group. That points differential of an extra 5. Do they play Leinster in the group stage? I know that their next game isn't up against them. I agree, Hamish, it's very annoying. Someone in the Investec media team is trying to justify their job with clever titles, revealing the results. Assume that that is their only job. CAS powered by. And the Champions Cup and Challenge Cup both have dumb formats. Both competitions need a revamp. It will never come. We have boring rugby. The Bulls thought they only need a new coach. Says LJ, and that is going to be a penalty to the Saints. At rolling maul time. Toulon Bath's turned into a very good fixture by the looks of it as well, ladies and gents. Just seeing the score update now. Just looking through to see whether or not they do actually play. So they play Leicester. They play the Harlequins. Oh, so the Stormers don't play Leinster in the group stage. See, that's one part of the revamping I assume you're talking about for the dumb formats of the group. In terms of you have everyone in your group, you don't even play everyone. They don't play Leinster. They play everyone who's not in the Oh, okay, that makes more sense. Sorry, my apologies. Surely you can still play, because they'll play them in the later stages anyway, like URC versus URC, right? Now going off the left-hand side, they look close to forward. Alex Coles breaks through, try Toulon. Says Jimbo there as well, but it is another try for the Northampton Saints. They'll check this last one to see if it was forward. Okay, 3 grabs the shoulders and buckles them in. And Saints look like a very young team. Surprise. And what happened to my team, says LFG, they just haven't played that well. Unfortunately, the mindset wasn't there from the very first opportunity for the Bulls. Okay, I think Cobus Vesa is just having a conversation there with the referee. Oh, he's having a chat there with Alex Mitchell as well. I wasn't happy about him saying just get over it. And Hamish, I'll explain my format revamp. Not long from now, just remember, all right, will come in different comments. Says LJ, oh yeah, the crowd. Sounds like they aren't too happy with something that has happened. Okay, now that was fine from Alex Mitchell by the looks of it, but it was something in the earlier breakdown that the Bulls, I believe, were asking about. Wait a minute. No, sorry. It's gone back. It is a forward pass, they've called it. That one was less forward than the one yesterday. But it is going to be no try, 21-5, still the score, and it is going to be a scrum feed for the Bulls, 7 metres out from their line. Caden Volhata finds touch this time. Don't you just love rugby consistency? Says Big Rig Joe. I can't believe Glasgow are top of the pool. To be fair, after beating Toulouse when they're down by 21, they thoroughly deserve it. Oh, little bit of push here. And Cobus Vesa right in the middle of it. That was bound to happen with the little bit of conversation that was going on earlier on. All the Northampton boys have to do is say, look at the scoreboard. But going to be a line out here for the Saints. Northampton boy here working in the kitchen, so can't watch it. But giving me all I need, brother. Thank you. Says Alice. Well, thank you very much for being here. Hopefully you are close to the end of your shift. Working in a kitchen though, and it is around dinner time, isn't it, up there? So maybe a few more hours left for you. Yeah, it does look like Cobus Vesa was right in the middle of that. Okay, George Furbank has gone up to Holly Davidson and said, hello, sorry to interrupt, but one of their players has kicked us. They are now checking it upstairs. Tishak Vinny has been accused of going for a, similar to a mule kick, I guess, in this scenario. He's kicked out at one of the players. This is going to be interesting. Foul play against Bulls number 1 in the scrum. I think teams that will win this cup is Stormers or that French team that beat in the Bulls, so that would be Bordeaux. Cobus, behave yourself, says Ruth. And big lead for Toulon now, says Kahu. Yeah, just as I say that game was close, they've just run away with it, haven't they? Right. Now, the fact that the TMO is checking this one. Okay, Ollie Davidson has just said she didn't see anything live here. Did the cameras pick it up? Oh, yeah, foot trip attempt from Tijak Vinny. That's really weird. He's run over and he's tried to kick his opposition in the scrum. What is he thinking? Yeah, he's run over and tried to attempt to trip Northampton's number 18, I think it was. Why? Bulls wake up and smell the rugby field. Oh, yep, they found another angle of him kicking Iogun. Elric Lowe saw it too. And he actually looked like he was about to apologise to the Saints player, or at least say, look, just shh, don't tell anyone. So he's run to the side and decides to just kick the opposition. What are we, under fives? Get him off. Put Keegan on, says Ethan. Right, it's going to be a card to the number 1 for the Bulls, Tijak Vene, for kicking. Like they've said, any form of trip is a little bit of a weird one, but to do it when the play isn't even going on, it's going to be a yellow card. What channel is this on? So here in New Zealand, it is on EPCR TV, which is the European Champions Cup broadcasting option, similar to URC TV. But yeah, he's going off the field now, Tijak Vene, for 10 minutes. So if they weren't already down and out in this game, the Bulls. Oh. Okay, Tijak Vene, time is off now. He is saying he tripped me first, and now Holly Davidson has turned off time. They may check to see whether or not there is a trip first. Okay, Holly Davidson has heard him say he tripped me first. So Holly Davidson has said we're not continuing in this game until we see a TMO and see if Iogun has tripped him. This sounds like it's happening in the schoolyard at primary school. He tripped me first. So now they're going to be looking. Oh, okay, so there is half a step where they're both going same direction. Is it Iogun has done it on purpose, or has it just worked that way? Nah. It looks like he's just jogging, to be honest, and I think it clips the heels of Tijak Vene. Oh, does he stretch out a little bit? Okay, so what has happened here for Tijak Vene is he's run across in front of Iogun. Iogun's been jogging, and what's happened is he's pretty much clipped his heels from just jogging in that direction, and Tijak Vene has taken that as he was foot tripped, so he went back and tried to foot trip the other guy in retaliation for something that didn't actually fully happen. This is very confusing. Okay, so they've checked the replay, and it is just going to be a penalty. Well, it's going to be a yellow card, of course. If ever was a referee to pre-side over playground, I can't say that for some reason, shenanigans, will be the very petty Holly Davidson. Says Power Bite. Right, what's she done to you, Power Bite? Obviously, she's hurt you at some stage. We have got that out. Says Roof there. Hi, Hamish. Bulls need to replace more coaching staff in order to make a rebound, says Brian. But no, that was thoroughly checked, which they kind of had to, because with a player coming over and yelling in the referee's face that he was foot tripped first, of course, if they didn't check it, then they'd get criticised, wouldn't they? So at least everything's been cleared now, and they've found exactly what happened. And now the Northampton Saints, they have got themselves a rolling more chance, 10 metres out from the line. Now this one going sideways. We will read that one in a short moment, LJ, as well, in terms of your revamped format. But a spin there. Dangwall looks for the offload. A little bit risky, but picked up by George Furbank. And switch to Toulon versus Bath. Can't bother with this case, says Aino. Now skip pass. Oh, it's going to go off the shin of Reinhard Ludwig. First in my revamp, I reduced Champions Cup from 24 to 20 teams. 8 teams from the URC, 7 from the top 14 5 from Premiership, 50% of teams from each league. 4 pools, 5 teams in a pool, says LJ. And Toulon, 28-27 Bath with 20 minutes to go, says Jimbo. And tit for tat, ding, 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 school kids, says Ruth. Oh, that's actually hit the hand of Reniard Ludwig. I thought it was the shin initially. But it seems like maybe they are going to check this one as well. And the next show will be long for me, says Haino. The crowd, they are absolutely loving this game, though. They don't want it to end, David. Love a few more tries, though. Definitely one more. And close one. Bath scored 28 points to 27. Does seem like the pick of the games at the moment, I will say. And what is this game, says Big Rig? Yeah, it's kind of all kicked off, hasn't it? Gone in a bit of a weird direction. We've still got 25 minutes left of the contest after everything that has happened. Eldrick Lowe is off the field. That is for Sitole, and that is due to that yellow card of the prop. Now, Alex Mitchell feeds that ball in. Going off to the right-hand side now. Little pop pass up to Fraser Dingwall. Now, Alex Mitchell, short side, pops it off. Oh, it was a bit of a rough pass, but there is another penalty advantage for offside against the Bulls. Now, 5 metres from the line, the Saints still getting this one going. Still an opportunity to turn on to that number 4, or 4th try, I should say, and just tune back in. I'm busy expecting the Bulls to be trailing, says Bruce. Right, quick tap was about to be taken. It will be Henry Pollock, though. Pops it up to Yogan. Just 1 metre short of the line. Alex Mitchell pops it to Henry Pollock. He is over the line and scores the bonus point try for the Saints. Fired up as well about it, Henry Pollock. But he gets over for another Champions Cup try for him. Has football played much in New Zealand? Yeah, it's actually more popular than rugby at this point in time. We have their pick of the moments. Santi Carreras picking on Charles Olivon, who's twice his size. I expected us to lose. This is worse than I thought, says Haino. Bulls are probably doing better than most people thought so far, says Kahu. An interesting scoreline. Aren't the Bulls one of the best teams in the URC, says Cats now? They're currently ranked 8th. So they're middle of the table up against the 3rd place Northampton Saints. Bulls have gone with an experimental lineup. And Saints have gone pretty strong. So this is about what people would have been expecting. Although I do think that the Bulls haven't gone into this game with the right attacking mentality, I would say. But that one has gone over. And that is going to make the score now 28 points to 5 with 23 minutes remaining. Hamish Holly Davidson stole my girlfriend. True story. I assume that there would be something in there just from that last comment. And same as Wales then. Says DJ, what kind of football? Soccer or league? Soccer. A Northampton rematch final in a couple weeks. Can't wait, says Kahu. Now, ready to go for this one. Yeah, that's going to be a great game, isn't it? Definitely going to have to cover that one on the channel. Hopefully, I haven't checked yet. Does it overlap with any other game? Because, does it overlap with La Rochelle and Leinster? No, sorry, it takes place. We can actually cover that one because it doesn't overlap with anything. Harlequin Stormers will be a great game beforehand as well. Saracens to lose afterwards could be just as good. There's going to be some great games taking place early January for this Champions Cup. But now the Saints on attack again, and they seem like they've found that little bit more confidence after scoring yet again. Surely soccer is the biggest game in all countries, says Jimbo. Not quite all countries. A few countries. I mean, the first one that came to mind was India in cricket, but now running it on the outside, left-hand side, George Hendy. 40 metres from the Bulls line once more. And Northampton really looking to increase this points differential now. Tackle made by Reniard Ludwig. Now Smith plays quickly as halfback. To Ollie Slate. Not a lot of space to work with as Trevino Jacobs got him early. Now back to the right-hand side. One more pass on the outside. Chance down the wing. Some pace being shown by Josh Kimmany here. Tackled 2 metres out. Now Alex Mitchell across. Finn Smith snipes, tries to get the offload, cleaned up by the tight air prop. Mitchell going left-hand side. Alex Coles goes through. The Saints go marching once again through the Bulls' defence and get themselves their 5th. Now we have got there, I hope Bordeaux smashed them 50-0, says Haino. We have got there, MW will be angry with his Bulls, says Jan. Yeah, now this game getting ugly in terms of the scoreline. And like they've said, the confidence is there now for the Saints. They've got their bonus point. They continue to just keep on moving. Now, the last time that these two sides played, it was 30 points to 21 in favour of Northampton on Bulls soil. The last time that they played on Northampton soil, it was a Champions Cup fixture, 59 points to 22. The Bulls also went with a very experimental side in that contest. This game, they are currently down by 30, and they still have 20 minutes to go. Alex Coles, that was actually the last time that he had to do anything in this game, so it's probably only Fiji and Tonga. Rugby is the most popular sport then, says Bruce. There's a few other places that rugby does take priority. We have got there Leon, 19 points to 6, and getting a bit of a hiding, says Johnny. And that's pretty much game set a match for the North, says George. Now Alex Mitchell, he has also been taken off of the field. We see a little bit of ice on the knee of Craig Wright. He did go off a bit earlier on with a knee injury. 1 second, I am about to sneeze, so I will very quickly mute again. We are good. Wales prefer rugby to football, despite them being bad now. Why do teams rest? It just comes down to the hectic schedules. They like to rotate sometimes. Champions Cup, that's why I feel like it hasn't quite got its same sting in the group stages, is because of the fact that sides don't go with their best lineups. Well, even in that quarterfinal last year, we saw the Bulls in a quarterfinal scenario where they just threw that game away because they were more focused on the URC. That's going to be a good steal for George Hendy. That one's going to go into touch. It's pretty much game set a match for Northampton. Bulls can't find other way back into this match. As is the regular Bulls lineup, not really. They're missing Pollard, they're missing Vili Leroux, Ruan Nokia, just to name a few. But it's definitely not the normal Bulls mentality, or is it? We've seen them do this time and time again recently, where second halves happen and they just can't score tries. Try Toulon, this is a ding-dong match. This is a hell of a match between Toulon and Bath right now. I'm getting regular updates throughout the chat, but yeah, it does sound like it is the much closer of these two games. Toulon-Bath match is a cracker, says George. See, I would say that we could try not to put the score of that one so that I can watch the final 10 minutes, but I don't think that's going to happen. I feel like it is sounding like way too much of an exciting game to not be able to give updates for. I'm watching it right now and it's crazy, says Gumby. And now going off to the right-hand side. Ball in the hands of Henry Pollock. Gets through one, fends another. Pace for days. Henry Pollock, he will go down just 5 metres short of the try line. Gets back up to his feet and almost manages to get over, but an outstanding run from the Saints, number 8. Now, short side, close to the try line. Ball's down. Slateholm scores again. And they are just running the show at the moment, the Saints. And why even bother sending a second-rate team there? Says Bruce, and the Bulls can't hold the ball long enough to build pressure. Says Seller. Henry Pollock, what an outstanding run that was for a start. Stepped around one of the Bulls defenders, fended off another, showed pace, and all but went over if it wasn't for him just slipping to the final ankle tap attempt of Sergio Peterson. And Bulls with a lucky E, or will be lucky. And Bulls are falling flat, says Ruth, and there as well. Getting over in the end, Ollie Slateholm. Wasn't this the Bulls team that was supposed to beat Bordeaux? So it's going to be a very different team when you look at them on paper compared to that team that we saw last week up against Bordeaux. And we have got there, lads. You can't be letting Henry Pollock trample you. It's a meme in the making, says Jimbo. Although I did see that on social media, it was said, of course, the next time that Henry Pollock goes up against the South African side, they're going to smash him. But I did also see a lot of people this week say this game doesn't count towards that smashing of Henry Pollock. They have to, or it was going to be, we got to wait until we see like an A-team play Henry Pollock, that then we get to see him get smashed. But at the moment, he is at a try. He's had a lot of running meters, breaking through defenders. So he's certainly doing nicely in this match, Henry Pollock. I thought that Pollock was meant to be filled in whenever he plays against South Africans, says Yade. And also, we have their balls are on into BDSM, it seems. I know it looks like a lot of the same forwards, says Gumby. Definitely different backs, though. And in terms of the 4-pack, they don't have Wilco Low, Gerhard Stennekamp in there, unfortunately. Johan Krobela, just to name 3 guys that they would like to have. Ruan Nokia. Now, looks like a change is about to be made. That is due to that yellow card coming to an end. I need Heineken back. Says Haino. And Bulls will be lucky enough to get a late consolation try, says George. 16 minutes now left on the clock. Score 40 points to 5. Okay, we can hear there the Northampton Saints just geeing themselves up at scrum time. We need to feed it in. And Pollock is like a little girl looking for attention every time anybody scores a try. Says Salah. And to be fair, he's had plenty of attention in this game because they've scored a lot of tries in this match, Northampton, already with that bonus point. The Bulls looking to score their second, though. Stedman Hans gets the inside pass next week. Just the 2 derby games. Maybe a third match that I haven't decided on yet. The world needs Heineken back. He was the best player in the URC this time last year. Got to go CL next year. Says Wild. Now going off to the right-hand side again. Yeah, with the team that face Bordeaux, they might be able to be within 20 of Northampton, I suppose, says Gumby. You're absolutely loving this, aren't you? I can tell. I seem to be, or I wouldn't say it's a trend, but anytime a South African side does struggle, you seem to show up. So it is good to see you again. We might see you next week because at the end of the day, one of the South African derbies might not be so close. Can't believe that the Bulls is a South African team. Are they way below par? Awful no game plan. Headless chickens running on the rugby field. Says Foldy there. Now, little chip attempted in behind by Cade Volhata. Mark was at least called, I think, by Northampton, but it was outside of the 22, so they will have to play on. Kick downfield. Joe Hendy chasing after it, or sorry, George Hendy, I should say. And now Devin Williams running out of space, goes into touch. The Saints look like a Ferrari. The Bulls looking like a second-hand Toyota. Says, that was there from Ruth. Now Finn Smith seeing the option to kick in behind. Bulls going to stay in the field of play. Stedman Hans jumps onto it 5 metres out from his own line, getting driven. It's that little bit closer to the goal line. Being told to use it here, the Bulls are under a lot of pressure. We have got their Bulls need a much better playing roster. This team would lose against the Cheetahs and the Riquas. Says Juan, I almost called you Juan, but it was Jan there. And insult to Headless Chicken, says Bruce. That one's going to go into touch. Once again, clearing the lines. 14 minutes remaining on the clock. I would have come on sooner, buddy. I don't realise you were covering this match, sorry. Says Gumby. It looks like a bit of an injury here for, I think it was Cade Volhata struggling. Yes, it is. Looks like he can't put a lot of weight on that right leg. Hamish, are you surprised at the scoreline? It's nuts. At first initial, I would say prediction-wise, I was thinking 25-30 in favour of Northampton. Red Rose Pollock will get what will shut him up very soon. Says Walsh. Now we have all these pundits in the chat, says Capetonian. So they're just showing Ollie Slate home with that finish from just before. He's already scored himself 2 tries. South Africa, a great international team. Not so much when it comes to professional teams. Says Gumby. Now ready to throw this one in again. It will be the replacement 16. And Pollock, a very good player, man. Says Haino. I think that's what annoys people the most about him. The fact that, like, as frustrating as it is, he can back it up for what he's able to do. But, yeah, definitely a personality, Henry Pollock. He seems to be absolutely eating up all of the hate that he's getting, which, to be fair to him, like, it's all you can do. At the end of the day, like, might be injured underneath that breakdown, though, Henry Pollock. Just gets thrown back to his feet by his teammate. Says, no, you're all right, get up. But now, line out chance here for the Saints again. And just because he is English, has a chip on his shoulder, they hate him, says Hey. No, the worst thing about Pollock is that he's good, because he is, in fact, really irritating to watch, says Gumby. Yeah, I mean, in this game already, he's had the try, he's had the assist, he's had about probably 5 defenders beaten, 1 or 2 clean breaks. And Brex and Olivon reckon Bath up the middle, great rugby, it's about defence. That lets the Bulls down, says Millbay. Looks like Akafunda Merva, he will make his way off. That's going to be for Juan Else. Okay, they tried to take the line out quickly there, Northampton, but the player was still rotating off. And Saints look very sleek. Says Roof, yeah, they were a bit of an underrated side for the early stages of that Champions Cup competition and continuously showed why they were one of the top contenders. That one's going to be thrown in, nicely taken again for the Saints. They look to get this rolling maul going once more. Waiting for this ball. They've been told to use it once. It is going to be the replacement. Tom James does go short side off to Joe Hendy. Breaks through the defence of the Bulls again, and that is try number about 6, maybe even 7 in this game now. OSL Rugby Club so poor in European Cup rugby compared to their national team, says Barry Power. Well, I think it all comes down to sending sides overseas. But the big pressure is now on the Bulls for next week's game. Toulon pulling away, but Bath will be a tough out going forward. Russell at 10 and Carreras at 15 is a great combo. Says Gumby, but a finish and a half by George Hendy, who does get himself now his 3rd try. There's been 5 tries scored out on the wing for Northampton in this game. The only forwards to score was Alex Coles and Henry Pollock. Bulls got gilded today. And also their try buff, says Gumby. And Saints like the box. Both have a great backline in their mid-20s, says Jimbo. Now Finn Smith lining this one up again, and it goes from bad to worse for the Bulls on the scoreline. Oh, hit the post though, so that will keep it as 40 points difference between these two teams with the 11 minutes remaining. The second half does feel like it's taken a long time at this point in time as well. 38 points to 27. Toulon winning, although now Gumby said it's 38-37 in that one. They'll be further ahead of this game too, won't they? That Toulon versus Bath match, purely because of how many stoppages we've had in this game. That ball's loose, picked up by the Northampton Saints. Pearson is off for Graham. Pearson had a solid game. Oh, I can do picture-in-picture mode on the Champions Cup app, I think. Yes, I can. They've just shown there that Charles Olivon got player of the match, but it's currently 38-34 on the scoreline in that contest. I've got it in the bottom corner now. I might as well chuck that one on while we're at it. Wait, 34, says Gumby. I like how you said you're way off to the other guy, even though you were also wrong. 38-34, says Jimbo. Now this one's going to be kicked in behind. Or at least attempted to kick it in behind, but the Bulls have got themselves the possession. 10 minutes remaining in this contest. The collision with Machunu come onto the field in that number 18 jersey, replacing Mornay Smith, who did look like he had a bit of a hand injury. Just hold on, Toulon, says Haino. And thanks so much, Hamish. Bulls were expected to lose. They have lost the plot for a while now, says Sue. And Toulon sneaked a penalty a minute ago. And they had it 37 for a second. That was confusing, says Gumby. Now kicked in behind. Chance again out wide, but it will just curve into touch. This is just the Saints show at this point in time. We are seeing hardly any of the Bulls with the ball in hand. And any time that they do, they give it straight back to Saints to say, give you one more attacking chance. Are they Machunu? Is it the Sharks one? Or which guy is it? It is... I always mess up his first name, but it is Kutha Machunu. So not Ntutuku Machunu, who is now playing for the Stormers, the one who had a Springboks debut recently, but the other Machunu brother, who does play tight head prop. And Bulls are giving up. Says Big Rig, no fighting spirit. They just have to, or they just want to have a shower and go to bed. Says Big Rig. Yeah, still another 8.5 minutes remaining. Kikinio Hannes has made his way onto the park. Line out throw for Robbie Smith, taken by the Saints. Finn Smith goes back across to Henry Pollock. Low tackle made on him by it would have been Van Nykirk. Now grub it in behind again from the Saints. Towed forward. Picked up by Sergio Peterson. He called for the mark and it is given. Oh, he hasn't taken a tap though. And decided he would run off afterwards. I need 40 points in 9 minutes, says Bruce. And try a bonus point for Bath. Says he ate in there as well. And 2 minutes for Bath to score a try. Yeah, try would win it for them. I've only got it on a little screen. Are Bath in the black kit or are they in the white kit? I think Toulon would be in black, wouldn't they? For that game. Oh no, that looks like... Wait, where's Kyle Sinclair playing? Is he at Bath or is he at Toulon? Now another step down the wing. Ollie Slate home. 7.5 minutes remaining in this contest. Our white kit is Bath. Okay, so currently Toulon are in possession. Looking to try and close it out. Looks like, once again, Northampton are on attack. Going with a pass in behind, delayed one there. Picked up by the Saints after a bit of a handling error. Ball pops out the side. Stravino Jacobs just puts massive boot to ball to just get it downfield. And at least play inside of the Saints half, who are now inside of their 22. Going across to George Hendy. Skip pass goes into touch. The Bulls will get an attacking chance. We have there, you're looking absolutely fabulous again. Awesome commentary makes the weekend, thanks. And disappointing scoreline, says Philip. It certainly is. Like, don't get me wrong. The Bulls weren't given much of a chance in this game. But, 25-30 I thought would be the maximum. I was hoping to see a bit more fight from this side. But, nah. Straight away, as soon as they went for the early three, I knew that this game was almost done and dusted for this Bulls side. They didn't have that same attacking intent that I was hoping they would, because at the end of the day, I wanted to see them at least get that bonus point for 4 or more tries. Would have made it more of a contest, but very defensive-minded today, the Bulls side. Gros Papier looking for the ball. And oof, that's tough loss, Bath, but what a game, says Gumby. But now, Ambros Papier, back across again into the hands of Sitoli. Eldrick Lowe to make his way back out onto the field after that yellow card of Tishak Vine. Oh, and off the feet from Northampton. They got themselves the warning in the breakdown. Stedman Hans, he's a player who I haven't really said too much of throughout this match. He actually got himself a really early steal in the contest, but from there, hasn't had a huge amount of opportunity. Copas Vesa, now Ambros Papier, going back across to the left-hand side. I absolutely love seeing the Bulls get battered, especially with all the former Stormers. Says Ricardo, 2 bonus points if they keep Toulon out. Well, it looks like Toulon may have just gone over the try line here with a... Is that a try? Yes, it is. Toulon have just scored at the end of that game. So Bath should only get the 1. Now Juan Else chopping him down. Big steal in the breakdown from Ollie Slate. Home Henry Pollock flicks it in behind with the no-look pass. Goes to George Furbank looking for the 50-22. No one back there for the Bulls, but the ball will stay in the field of play. Now back across. Chance here for an attacking last-minute attempt from this Bulls side. Nassim Carr finds himself out on the wing. Looks like there's an injury for one of the Bulls players as well. Bulls slap back into the hands of Furbank. Oh, slip there. Down the wing, George Hendy gets round one. Passes now to Dingwall, or Hutchison, in fact it was. They've gone back. I assume that's for a forward pass. Would have been the try for Tom James. I don't think they realised that the game has been stopped by Davidson. I think it's for a forward pass, is it? From George Hendy. This one didn't look... Oh, wait. What are they checking? What's that one for? That must have been a prior pass to that last one, because that last pass looked absolutely fine. But they also said that the reason that they stopped it was a medic on the field. Interesting. Okay, that was a confusing moment there. But I think it's ruled as a forward pass against the Saints. So yeah, it must have been the one prior that went to George Hendy, because Hendy's pass looked fine. 45 points, Bath. Back to training, says Jimbo. Now just showing a couple of the Northampton Saints players. Oh, okay, one of the props was about to snap a finger. Not too happy there for one of the Saints replacements. I think he's, in fact, one of the props has just told the guy who was playing with his ear to F off. He was not quite in the mood, Trevor Davison, for the shenanigans. Now scrum feed here for the Bulls, and Bros Papier to feed the ball in. And now short side, and Bros Papier, a lot of space to be able to run into. He's gone for the chip in behind in a foot race with Henry Pollock. Oh, he's dropped the ball though, and Bros Papier. Unfortunately, again, they can't quite get through. Still can't believe Glasgow bet to lose. It was a phenomenal comeback, wasn't it? I ended up watching, first 30 minutes, and I was like, okay, this game's going one-sided. I'll come back and watch the rest of it later. Came back, and then completely different game after I ended up returning. That one's going to go into touch. Clearing the lines. Currently 3 minutes left in this game. Right, the player of the match is going to be JJ Fundermesh by the looks of it. Or is it going to be Henry Pollock? They're just showing the nominees. At the moment, it could be Finn Smith. And it is Finn Smith who gets the player of the match for his Northampton Saints side. Don't care, my Stormers are brilliant so far, says Ricardo. And Toulouse didn't get a sniff second half. Yeah, and the Glasgow attack was just phenomenal. The way that they were able to cut through them down the wings and that quick draw and pass that they were using. Sione was huge for Glasgow. Yeah, just attacking meters time and time again for Sione Tuipulotu. Now thrown in. Oh, overthrown there for the Bulls. That one's going to be claimed by Northampton yet again. Me too, Bruce. Now back across. Finn Smith going for the up and under. The Saints still feel like they've got enough time to be able to get themselves one more. That's accidental offside, I believe. Although, is it accidental offside if he slaps it back into a player and then it hits into him, but the player was the opposition? That's a great kick. 50-22 for the Saints. No, in fact, it's been taken back. My apologies. It will be the line out for the Bulls. Only about 7 meters out from their line. The winning team gets to eat burgers. Zach Burger, says Big Rig. And Stormers more pleasing on the eye so far this season. Yeah, this one has been a brutal one for the Bulls. Definitely been a lesson for some of these younger players. An experience and a half. Juan else now throwing that one in. It was almost stolen by the Saints, and it's called as the knock on. Still got time for maybe one more scrum and one last attack for either of these two sides. 90 seconds on the clock. Toulon, they closed out the win up against Bath. That was the other game that was taking place just recently. Dragons versus Lyon. I haven't seen the score in that one for a while. Where did it go? I'll have a quick look now. Oh, that's a close game too, to be fair. I won't spoil that one for anyone who does want to go on and watch that game perhaps afterwards, because there are still probably about 6 or 7 minutes remaining in that contest. Any place to watch the Dragons game, I see they are 5 points down. Okay, so Hayno's just spoiled it. Although, to be fair, you did write that before I finished saying it. But it is on EPCR TV. We could actually possibly talk about the last 5 minutes of that game if you guys are keen. Seeing as that one's going down to the wire a little bit. Got to go mow lawns. I reckon not much will change this year. Top 4 being Toulouse, Bordeaux, Northampton and Leinster again. Says Gumby. Although the Stormers definitely putting their names in the hat at the moment as a possible contender. There was another team that I was impressed with as well that might have half a chance. Oh, breaking through again here, and it's another try for Northampton. Sliding on will be more exciting than this one, says Big Rig. But the Saints, that was with 2 seconds remaining. Thanks, Hamish. Goodbye, all. I want JJ Fundermesh at the Stormers very quickly. We'll donate some of Murat to the Saints. We will not get top 8 in the URC, says Hayno. They're just reviewing a tackle here. Looks like it was a high shot just before scoring for that Dragons versus Lyon game. Stop, he's already dead, says Big Rig. Yeah, they bring up the 5-0 in this contest, Northampton. Kick to come at the end of the match. But it is well done. If Sasha could kick off the tee, Stormers would be perfect. Murat is useless, says Martin. Now Finn Smith. So he has one more kick to come in this contest. Got himself player of the match. And beautiful destroying these arrogant fellows, says Ricardo. Oh, that ball's fallen off the tee. He's going to go for a drop kick instead. Finn Smith got timed out. Hit the post anyway. So that is going to be a weird way to end this game. But it's going to be 50 points to 5. A frustrating one for Finn Smith. He is not happy. Henry Pollock goes over, tries to cheer him up anyway. But he's not happy at the moment. Gets a head rub. But that is going to be the end of the contest, ladies and gentlemen. And it is 50 points to 5 for the end of this contest. But what I am quickly going to do is we're actually going to switch over to that game between the Dragons and Lyon. We might as well watch the closing moments of that one while we're at it. So we're going to need to go back to Super. They would fare better there, says Gumby. And I was like, battered, says Johnny. Yeah, a very one-sided affair. So currently 2.5 minutes to go in that Lyon versus Dragons game. And it seems like it could really be anyone's game in that matchup, purely because of the fact that there is an attacking chance. Right. Screech has got the ball. The Dragons are on attack. They are 5 meters out from the opposition line for Lyon. Rolling maul could go over here. In fact, they're going to be just short. And this will be a chance to level this game. We could see 2 draws in the Challenge Cup in quick succession. And the Dragons get a comeback win, though. There's a yellow card to Lyon, I do see as well. 3 tries scored by Lyon. 2 tries scored by the Dragons with 100 seconds remaining on the clock. Now off to the right-hand side. Chance again here for the Dragons team. Now we're in. Oh, that might be on the line. Yes, it is. The Dragons score, making it 21-21, and now they've got a kick to come to win this game, potentially. Well, there you go. A little bit of excitement later on in that contest by the looks of it. 21-21, the score at this point in time, though. Probably could still go either way. There's enough time on the clock. But that would be a pretty huge one if they were able to get this kick over. But the try, who was it who managed to get the sneaky little pick and go? It was actually their number, I want to say it was 20 for the Dragons in this contest. So that would have been Harrison Keddy, I think it is, looking at him. But they've said nothing clear in terms of a knock-on or anything like that. So now the kick to take the lead. Where is the kick? The kick is from about 5 meters in from the touchline, about 30 meters out. Strikes it well, gets it over. Dragons now lead 23-21 with 30 seconds remaining. Tell you what, we've missed a couple great games all taking place at the same time. By the looks of it, Toulon versus Bath was an absolute thriller. And yes, says Haino there. Yeah, taking the lead now, the Dragons with just the 15 seconds remaining, kicked off by Lyon, who have managed to slap it. It looked like backwards. No, it's knocked on. Dragons now with the ball in hand, 7 seconds remaining in this contest. And all they have to do is go one more phase. They were told to use it. They haven't yet. They've gone back across. And now the clock is in the red. They can put it back in the pocket, kick it into touch, and the Dragons have beaten Lyon at home. And it's home for the Dragons as well, I should mention, rather than the other way around. But that is a huge win for the Dragons side. I called it on Subaru. Dragons deserve this win. They will come so close previously, yes. Says Haino, and also Bulls go eat ice cream. Acted like 6-year-olds. Says Ruth there as well. So yeah, 2 very close games, and then this game. Northampton Bulls 50 points to 5. Still a few more games around the corner taking place as well. 1 second, we'll go like that. Oh, I see Sefo Massi was in the Lyon side. I didn't even realise that. But coming up later on, Bristol versus Poe. Newcastle Red Bulls versus... Oh, no, that's on January 9th. So it is just Bristol Bears versus Poe at this stage for the last game of the day. Lyon not that good, says Gumby. I don't think you can take it away from the Dragons, though, for what they were able to do in that contest. Looked like a bit of a thrilling contest. 3 tries each for the 2 sides. Lyon, France. Old Dragons, Welsh. What a game, says Ruth. Thanks so much for all the commentary this weekend, says DJ. No worries at all. We have got a few games next weekend that I am going to be covering on the channel. Couple URC fixtures, 2 South African derbies, and then maybe another one thrown in there too. Bristol 5-pointer, says Jimbo. But yeah, in terms of URC, we'll go here. So, Leinster, Ulster, it's a Saturday morning game. I might be able to cover it depending on schedule. And then also Lions versus Stormers. That is in there. Sharks versus Bulls we will be covering on the channel as well. A couple of those games do overlap with each other. In fact, a lot of the games overlap with each other for next week. So yeah, it might just be 2 or 3 games that we cover on the channel for next week. But nonetheless, hope you guys all did enjoy. Bulls didn't quite show up for that game, but overall still a decent round of Champions Cup Rugby. There's been some great thrilling contests. This one wasn't one of them, unfortunately, but very good win for the Northampton Saints. But nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning in. I will see you all for the next one.